travel the world. Now you must journey inwards. What you really fear is inside you. There is no turning back. Your parents' death was not your fault. The training is nothing. The will is everything. If you make yourself more than just a man, if you devote yourself to an ideal, you become something else entirely. Are you ready to begin? Where are you?
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the 20th anniversary watch-along celebration of one of the greatest reboots, reintroductions, origin stories, and an overall perfect movie in itself. Batman Begins turns 20. I am your host, Ryan of Anaco Channel, and I am not alone in journeying back to the year that was 2005, which was a great year for Warner Brothers movies, Warner Brothers television. Smallville was on at the time, guys. Lots of good things happening at that point. I am joined by the one and only man who's responsible for the great-looking studios that we have here, the thumbnails, the backgrounds, the overlays, the graphic designs, all that good stuff. Case is back. Good to have you, good sir. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm feeling old because I remember being a kid and watching this, and it's 20. Where does the time go? But I have to be here because I really enjoy this movie.
Yeah, I don't know where the time has gone either. I'm confused. I keep looking at my watch and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, it's 2005 right now, right? We're not in 2025 yet, are we? Are we? Are we? Really? Oh, okay, I guess we are. But also joining us is someone who is no stranger to Batmanology, I suppose. He's also a gentleman, a scholar, and one of the best professors in the world today. Please welcome the professor himself. Hollis is here. Hello, Professor Hollis. How are you?
Oh, thank you, Ryan. I'm doing really well. Excited to watch one of the best Batman movies of all time with you.
He's not wrong, you know. He's not wrong. In the words of our good friend Morgan Freeman, he's right, you know. Speaking of Morgan Freeman, he's in this movie, isn't he? Oh, yeah, he plays a very key role. But thank you for joining us, Hollis. Thank you for joining us. Whether you're watching or listening to us right now, don't forget to like and share with your closest friends. If you're watching us live on the replay, thank you. Hello there. And if you have any thoughts on this movie, any favorite memories, fun facts, questions about anything Batman related, or maybe even outside the Batman universe, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Before we start our feature presentation here, how Movie Watch Along works, we're going to be watching the movie here on our own devices, whether it's through physical media or streaming service. You're more than welcome to do the same thing from the comfort of your own home. Just cue it up right now. Keep it at the 0 second mark, because before we hit the magic button known as play, give you an opportunity to get to know our panelists just a little bit better. So, Professor, I got to go to you first, because you're wearing a ridiculously good-looking suit. You basically are playing Bruce Wayne and Batman in the same scene here, because I believe there's a design on the back of your jacket that you're going to be showing the audience here momentarily.
Yes.
There it is. Yeah, show the audience. Let's blow that up here, guys. Give us a second. There it is. Look at that. If that's not a ridiculously good-looking jacket, I don't know what is, honestly. I mean, Austin, our good friend Austin, I think he's giving you a run for your money there, man. Hollis is giving you a run for your money, Austin. You're going to have to shape up for next week when you're sitting here talking about Jaws. But with that being said, Hollis, what was it like for you seeing this movie way back when in 2005?
Oh, so now you're making me feel old. Yeah, I sadly did not see this movie in theaters. It is the only Chris Nolan Batman movie I didn't see in theaters. I don't know what I was doing in 2005 where I didn't see it. But I got it on DVD, I think probably for a birthday present after it came out. And I still have that DVD to this day. That's actually the copy I'm going to be watching today. And the first time I saw it, I was too young to really understand continuity and the history of the Batman movies and all that kind of stuff. I just thought it was so cool to have Batman's origin story told in full. And this was the first time as a kid I had ever seen a movie or a TV show or anything like that tell the entire origin from beginning to end. And so it's had a huge impact on my appreciation and understanding of the Batman character ever since.
Awesome, man. That's great. I hope you share the same passion about this movie with your students in class when you're talking about comic book movies or superheroology. I don't know what you want to call it these days. There's so many different names for these classes that you teach. You teach so many. But outside of your ridiculously good-looking jacket and your history lesson, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. DVD. Wow, that's a great-looking DVD case too. I think I had that way back when. It's been a hot minute though. Case, what was it like for you seeing this 2005, where you were barely only 4 or 5 years old at that time?
No, I
Or
actually
not.
didn't see this right after release. I first saw The Dark Knight. I know it's weird. The Dark Knight was essentially my first Batman movie. And then my stepfather was like, there is actually another movie that you should also see, which goes before it, and it's called Batman Begins. And then we watched it and was like, these movies are really good. This was, and in that regard, this was my introduction to Batman. I had never seen the 89 one, Returns, the other two. So I had no idea who Batman was. And that's why when I saw those older movies, I was like, wait, why is this so campy? And then I understood, oh, wait, it's based on a comic book. Because you would not think this is a comic book movie. It's essentially a political thriller with comic book characters kind of in it. But in that regard, they did a very different thing. And I was like, this is great. I really enjoyed it way back when, like 2008 or 9 or something. So I thought it was a great introduction to the character of Batman, and also just an insanely creative way of using comic book characters in a movie that doesn't really feel like a comic book movie.
For sure, definitely. And yeah, and for me, I remember seeing the trailer for this because I went to the movies a lot, especially growing up and when I was a teenager, early adulthood, if you would, if you will. And when I saw the trailer for this, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going back to this? Because the last time I saw Batman in the theaters, it was a little indie film called Batman and Robin that ruined the franchise. And it ruined kids' childhoods. It ruined kids' memories. It gave kids nightmares at one point because we all thought there was a big guy with an ice gun that was going to come into our bedrooms at night and say, "You are not sending me to the cooler." I mean, it's just, come on. But look, listen, as a kid, I thought Batman and Robin at certain points was very cool. All right. Now, I grew up watching the 89 Batman. I grew up with the Mask of the Phantasms. I grew up with Batman TAS. But never have I seen a comic book movie that was presented in this way in 2005 when this film was coming out. And Warner Brothers was on a major high because they had a million television shows around the WB at the time before it did its transfer over to the CW network at that point. Smallville was riding high with the Superman origin story with Clark Kent's TV series on the WB. And then we hear that there are rumblings that they're going to reboot Batman. It's going to be a whole new movie with a new director, new star, new cast, everything else. And I'm thinking, ooh, this is interesting. And then when we saw the trailer that we saw at the top of the show, I'm thinking, this is very different. This is very, very different. Because I thought Batman was just a badass automatically. But now we're going to learn how he becomes a badass. Where does he get these skills? Where does he learn how to defend himself? Where does he learn how to become the world's greatest detective? Ooh. How does he learn this stuff? I really, because we never really got any of that. We never really got any of that up to that point in Batman's movie cinematic universe movieology, I think as we call it. Yeah. So I remember going in the theater, as soon as it started, as soon as we see him going into the Misty Mountain, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is great. This is so different. And I became a fan of it ever since. And then the trilogy just continued on after that, because we were a bit of an unknown director, somewhat of an unknown actor. Christian Nolan knocked it out of the park in so many different ways, more so than one. So this is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think this is a perfect movie. We'll talk more about that later. But yeah, Batman Begins is a great movie. So with that being said, let's dive back into this. Let's go back to 2005, and we begin our feature presentation in 3, 2, 1. Hit play. Here we go. Warner Brothers logo coming up. And the other great thing about this movie is I got to give credit where credit's due. The score is so different, and it's so good because it sets a really good bar, and it really sets up the atmosphere of where this is going. And Hollis, you're muted. So just so you know, if you want to share something about how great this score is, take off your mute button, sir. There it is. But yes,
Hans Zimmer, I think, is an absolute master, especially with the fact that John Williams is now retired. I really think that pretty soon he's going to be recognized as one of the great film composers after John Williams.
I don't see why Hans Zimmer isn't already
Yeah. I think a lot
He's
of people
getting
put him
there.
in his.
He is.
He is.
Yeah.
But I think a
He's-
lot of people would put at this point, because he's done so much. I mean, Hans Zimmer did way more movies before Batman Begins. He's done like hundreds of movies before this movie even came out. So the
He
fact that
already
he's
had an
done all
Oscar
this,
when this movie came out.
yeah,
Yeah.
he won the Oscar when this came out.
No, he won the Oscar
Yeah.
for The Lion King in 1994.
Yes.
Oh, The Lion King. That's right. That's right. I was
Yes.
like, geez.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, the guy, he's in the top 3. He has to be in the top 3 composers of all time, if not the top 2, because he's done so much. He's added so much nuance to every movie that he's composed the score for, I would say. And here you see a young Bruce playing with his best friend, Rachel Dawes. They find a little arrowhead, finders keepers. So there's a little Easter egg for you right there. The finders keepers is an Easter egg that we're going to find out more about later on in the film. Oh, look, Bruce fell down something. What's it? Ah, bats.
Yep.
Bats everywhere. Bats everywhere. Oh, now we get to a bearded Christian Bale. Did you have a dream? Nightmare.
But yeah, I think Hans Zimmer throughout his career has shown to be an extremely versatile composer, where he very much adapts to whatever kind of movie. Because a lot of people will know him from the scores that he did for the Nolan movies, and rightly so, because the scores that he made for the Nolan movies are amazing. This is, I think, his first one that he did for it. But then also, around the same time that he was scoring this, he also scored 2 Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah.
And say what you will about the second and third Pirates of the Caribbean in terms of the overall quality of the movie. The score is insane.
The score is great.
Agreed.
Can't agree on the hashtag sequels never happen case, but the music is great. The score is great. I'll give credit where credit is due. By the way, Cade Hawkins says, "Hey dudes, what's up, Cade? Good to see you, man." He says, "Ooh, Batman, right on, dudes." It's right, yeah. Batman Begins turns 20, Cade. So watch the movie along with us, and then chime in your thoughts in the chat. Love to hear from you. And then Brendan Marr is saying hello there again because he's connecting with us through his Twitch stream as well as his YouTube stream. So thanks, Brendan. Appreciate you, man. Don't forget to like and share this with your closest friends out there. Boy, they're really getting down and dirty in the mud here, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
That's establishing right away that this is going to be literally a more gritty Batman movie.
Very gritty, yep.
I also really love the line when he's like, "Your practice."
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah. It's like, do you know what you are to me? Well, you're practice. It's just
protection for them.
Man.
Yeah.
Solitary. Why? Protection. I don't need protection. No. Protection for them. Because he broke a guy's leg and he knocked out like 5 other guys. Oh man, Liam Neeson. Speaking of versatile actors, this guy could play anything. Honestly, Liam Neeson can be like your best friend to your worst enemy.
He decided to just be in generic action crap ever since he got taken.
But it works.
Well, I mean,
it works.
In his defense, that's where a lot of his money was made.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's just when you literally trained Obi-Wan Kenobi and Batman and you played God, then I think you're a bit more versatile just than being in generic action crap. Like, come on, you can do better, man.
I know.
Because every movie is more or less the same plot for the last 15 years. He's been doing it, right, Case? I mean, it's more or less the same plot. Someone takes his son, someone takes his daughter, someone burns down his house, or takes his business away from him that he owned for 30 years. And he's like, yeah, I'm coming after you. But I don't know. He may be turning that around because I saw the trailer for the new Naked Gun reboot that he's going to be starring in. So who knows?
Right. Well, at least that's different.
I guess. I mean, he's still taking it kind of. I wouldn't say he's playing it completely straight in the trailer, but he's just kind of like, you're just playing kind of yourself with very few one-liners in there, Liam. I'm sorry. Oh, jeez. Yeah, there's a Naked Gun reboot coming out, Hollis, with Liam Neeson as the new Frank Drebin Jr. of Police Squad. So there you go.
I was not aware of that.
Yep, both trailers have dropped now. So in case you want to see how different the Naked Gun's going to look in 2025, feel free to look up the trailers on YouTube. Oh man,
I just wonder why they're even doing this.
I know there's no point. There's no point.
Like
well,
very every so often, whenever I see this type of stuff drop, I'm just like, did Hollywood just reach into like a a bag full of
Randomness?
names of previously existing IPs, and they were like, Naked Gun. Yeah, we can remake that. Why not?
Let's have Liam Neeson do
Yeah,
it.
basically. At this point, that's about the best I can figure is going on up there.
If you want.
Because
I mean,
they just keep on doing that.
Fun fact, in case anyone's wondering about the Liam Neeson film, Naked Gun, Pamela Anderson is in this. I'm just like,
Why not?
wow. I'm like, when was the last time Pamela Anderson was in anything that was not Baywatch related? I'm sorry. I know she's done a few movies since Baywatch, but still, I'm like, Pamela, what have you done? Honestly.
Borat. She's in Borat.
Oh, I didn't know she was in Borat. Thanks for pointing that out, because I didn't even know she had a cameo or a role in that. Sorry.
Borat is obsessed with her and obsessed with.
Oh, okay, got it. That would make sense for Sacha Baron Cohen. Yeah. I just, oh boy. I want to be like your peoples. Anyway, that's a long story. In the Misty Mountains, he's got his winter clothes on, looking for that flower. I think he found it.
Yep. The test
Blue
of
Flower, Red
endurance,
Thorns.
basically.
Blue Flower, Red Thorns. Oh wait, that's the wrong movie.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, which movie is this?
Shrek.
Thank you. I was like, what do you do? Like, and he's like, yeah, you go uphill. We go home now.
I tried to warn him. Warned him to turn back.
Turn back, must turn back. And then the other people were like, yeah, we go home now. Just saying. Oh boy.
This is
Great.
such an unconventional opening for a Batman movie.
But it's
It
great.
is.
But it's great cinematography. You got to admit.
No, absolutely.
Great.
Great
I mean, look at
cinema in
this.
general.
Look at the size of this.
Yeah.
This. What do you call it?
Temple.
Temple Hill Mansion, whatever. Like, look at the size of this thing. It's crazy.
Ra's al Ghul's home.
Ra's al Ghul's mansion or his temple, whatever. Temple, League of Shadows,
Monastery,
something like that.
Yeah.
Door creaks open. It's an opening to a horror movie. You know, walks through. Nobody's
By
home.
Ken Watanabe.
Few candles. Actually, hundreds of candles are
A lot
lit.
of candles.
A
Yeah.
lot of candles here, guys. A lot of candles. Takes off his winter mask. Ken Watanabe.
Let them
What's-
fight.
And Chris Nolan likes to work with the same 10 actors every movie, because Ken Watanabe,
He does.
Cillian
This is
Murphy,
true.
Killian Murphy, Michael Caine, they're in every single one of Nolan's films, or at least most of them to a
I
certain
mean,
degree, right?
I believe.
He
No, they're not
he has
all-
like his core
5 or
actors he
6.
likes to work with, and then he like brings in some
Everybody.
big name ones.
Everybody.
Like you see the same thing in Inception, right? Where
Inception's
you
a
had the
big
core
one.
group, and then they brought in DiCaprio, right? Like that was
DiCaprio, yeah,
kind
as
of the
Bob.
thing.
And who was the other one? Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Tom Hardy were brought in there too.
Oh, and
There you go.
Elliot,
But
Elliot
those
Page.
two,
Okay, yeah.
those two have kind of become part of the Nolan fold,
Family.
I think, because he
Yep.
uses them quite a bit.
Oh, found the flower. Found the flower. See? There it is. There's your proof. Oh, it says speaking Urdu. Okay, so that's what language he's speaking. All right. I was wondering what language he was speaking. To manipulate the fears in others, you must first master your own. Dude, that guy can narrate a phone book. Honestly, he's so good. Are you ready to begin? I can barely stand.
Yep.
Death does not wait for you to be ready.
And that's lesson number 2.
Death is not considerate or fair, and make no mistake. Here you face death.
Right.
By the way, I will say I was very surprised to see that Michael Caine was not an Oppenheimer because everyone else was.
Oh, he wasn't in that? Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, out of all the people that were in Oppenheimer, and it's a lot, Michael Caine wasn't one of them.
Michael Caine wasn't in Oppenheimer, even though he should have been, but sorry, he wasn't. And you are afraid. Yeah, fear is a big theme that's explored in this entire 2-hour movie.
It is facing fear is one of the main themes in this film.
Facing your fears or fear, whichever it is, like you're going to face all of it in 2 hours.
There's your arrowhead.
Goes back to the bats, though. By the way, this is another
thing.
This is another fun fact, and it's funny because he doesn't. I didn't really know who this guy was until he shows up years later on Law and Order as the ADA of New York County. Linus Roche as Thomas Wayne plays Michael Cutter in the last 3 seasons of Law and Order, seasons 18, 19, and 20. Before they canceled it, and then 10 years later they bring it back because networks are weird like that. but he's a really good actor, Linus Roche. He's really good.
He plays a great Thomas Wayne. He really
does.
does.
I think he does a really
Not
good
a-
job here.
Yeah.
It's limited
But
screen
frankly,
time.
I think
Yeah, it's limited screen time, but he does a great job with it, Hollis.
he does. Frankly, though, I don't think there's a bad casting choice in this whole movie, to be honest with you.
Mm-mm.
All of them do
Yep.
really good jobs.
Yep. I would say so.
I definitely have something to say
About the
bit
kid?
later about casting.
Is it the kid who plays young Bruce, or is it one of the...
No, it's Rachel. Actually.
Oh, it's Ray.
Oh, you don't like her, huh?
No. I do.
Oh, okay.
That's the point.
Oh, that's the point. Okay.
I don't know if it's a controversial take. I think Katie Holmes is a way better Rachel than Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Oh, okay. All
That's
right.
fired.
Yep, that's gonna cause a stir in the comments later on the replay.
Like, yeah, I'll get to it later.
Yeah, of course.
We'll get it.
Well,
We'll get to
No,
it
it's
later.
fine.
This is the only movie in the trilogy that actually shows Gotham well. I think this has a good iconic look to it.
Yep.
While still being set in realism, because all due respect to Dark Knight, as much as I love it, it looks like Chicago.
It looks like Chicago.
So I do like that they make it really clear that the Waynes are old money, right? Like that Thomas
Old
Wayne
money.
has had this fortune for generations.
Yep.
But because he's rich, instead of just being involved with the corporation that's making him all his money, he becomes a doctor instead, not for the money, but just to help people. I think that's a really good backstory for Bruce's father. That kind of legacy that his father was already somebody who chose to help people just because.
They kind of take creative liberties here with the opera scene, because in the comics they went to a showing of a Zorro movie.
That's correct. Although, as Nolan has pointed out, that's not in the earliest Golden Age comics.
Oh,
so in the earliest comics, it's not there. That was his justification for changing.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't bother me, but I just remember people saying that in the original comics, not Batman, but Bruce Wayne with his parents before they were killed were at a showing of a Zorro movie or a play, whatever it was, and then they get shot outside that theater.
Yeah.
So.
Not in the original comics from the way back when. That was added pretty early. That was probably in the Silver Age. I think they added that.
Silver Age.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in the originals, no. It also adds to the drama, though, here because of Bruce. They left because of Bruce.
Because he was scared.
Right. Because of the fear. Exactly. And then we get this scene.
Wait a minute. That's not the Joker. The Joker's the one who killed his parents.
No, it is not.
No, it's not.
Creative liberties. They took creative liberty. The Joker killed my parent. No, they didn't. In the Burton universe, the Joker kills the parents, but in reality, it's Joe Chill who kills Bruce's parents. Right. Joe Chill was a common criminal that kills his parents, not the Joker. Tim Burton took very much creative liberty with that origin story in the first Batman movie from '89.
Yes,
I'm fine with that. In the '89 version, I'm fine with this. It's like, it's all of them are just slightly different interpretations of the same story, because the point is Bruce's parents got killed.
Yeah,
that's the entire point. It doesn't matter who did it, really. If you want to
kill by a criminal, kill by a desperate man. Yep.
Also, honestly, one of the best actors of all time, Gary Oldman.
Oh my god,
yes.
Dude, as Gordon, whoo,
yeah,
he nails this, man. This is early Gordon as a patrol cop, and then he nails him as a sergeant and a lieutenant. Like he just does it all.
I also want to point out with Gordon, this is probably the most obvious one, but this whole movie, much of the aesthetic is inspired by Batman Year One.
Yep, Frank Miller,
and I can't remember the artist in that one.
Oh shoot!
But
it was, let me look it up.
Yeah, but one of the people who worked on this movie, I can't remember who it was, but said that one of the most interesting things about this movie is that he just becomes not just Gordon, but specifically Gordon from Year One. You compare the art of Gordon from Year One to Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and he looks like he just stepped out of the panel. Like very specifically that look for Gordon.
It was Frank Miller, David Mazzucchelli, I want to say,
There we go. Yep.
and Richmond Lewis. So there you go. Those were the gentlemen who put together Batman Year One, which is one of the most iconic comic book titles in history for not just DC Comics in general, but for also the Batman character.
It was for the comic books what this movie was for the films. The rebooting back to the beginning, retelling the origin again. Which is why there's so much inspiration from that book in this.
Very true. Rachel saying goodbye to Bruce.
By the way, I will say, as someone who has never read a Batman comic in his life, Batman Year One is one that I keep hearing from people.
Oh, yeah.
Even I, who knows nothing about the actual comics, knows about it.
It's very influential, Year One, not just for the Batman movies, but there's just anything comic book in general. It had a huge impact. So, I mean, among other titles, of course, but Batman Year One's one of the titles that does get mentioned a number of times. That one, and then Batman: The Long Halloween, Batman: Hush, Batman: Death in the Family, which is another big one. Hollis.
Yeah.
There's trying to think what was Batman: Court of Owls is another one that gets mentioned because that was Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder. So. Well, you know, people say.
I know. Sorry, I have my opinions. I am very opiniated.
No. I was just saying that people
say
say it's one of the most influential titles. So you know,
Hollis joined the club. We're all very opinionated here.
yeah, I was gonna say if you have opinions on Court of Owls and why it may not be that as good, you know, it's fine. Your parents, you know how to fight 6 men. We can teach you how to engage 600. Oh man,
and teach you how to swing a sword.
Teaching montages, man. Training montages are so good. Invisible?
I do think there's like a difference between a very regular montage and this. Like, I think this does a very good job at just also explaining the character and going that step further than just showing a montage. Like, yeah, we get that he's getting better, but you know, he's also learning to deal with the death of his parents and everything that happened, which is more than your average montage shows.
Yeah.
Ooh,
also, at this time, this really wasn't something that stayed with Nolan through his whole life, but during this time, he was very interested in non-linear editing and storytelling. Like, he just came off of Memento, right?
Oh yeah,
Memento, yeah.
Memento, baby.
You can tell that he's still in that kind of time period where he's really interested in non-linear stuff, which is how he tells the origin story, right? He doesn't tell you it in chronological order. He mixes it up a little bit.
He cuts back and forth.
Exactly.
All the little Easter eggs in these movies, especially this one with him using those specific pieces of armor, and then you got the little, you know, bats, spikes on the edge of them. I'm like, see, Easter eggs, man.
Everything is. Sorry.
I actually don't think any of the Nolan movies are told in a linear fashion.
Well, Dark Knight is linear, and so is Dark Knight Rises. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you have Inception, which also goes all over the place.
Oh my god! Because it's a dream within a dream within a dream.
Yeah, exactly. The worst one of them all is Tenet, where it's like I don't even know what's happening.
I don't even know what character I'm supposed to be looking at right now.
Yeah. Went too far.
I like early Nolan. The more recent it becomes, the more I'm like, okay, I get what you're doing, but no.
I get what old school Nolan for you is better. Yeah. Sacrifice.
Like Memento is great. Batman Begins. The Dark Knight is great. Prestige is great.
Inception is really good.
I was not a fan of Inception. I liked Interstellar.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know. Hot take.
Okay. Wow, that's another hot take in the comments. Woo!
That's probably one of the hottest takes that I have that I don't care for Inception.
Oh my goodness. You know what, Case? You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling. Gotta tell you that. But
you know what the annoying thing is? I've seen it 3 times.
3 times.
And the second and the third time were just to be like, do I actually not like a movie that everyone else does? Yes.
Oh boy. All right. I mean,
like, I understand. If you like Inception, you've won. The majority of people agrees with you. I just don't.
It's okay.
That's okay.
I had a wife, I had a daughter. She was taken from me, though. That's me quoting because I want to make this very clear. This is the 20th anniversary watch along of Batman Begins, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Christian Bale and company. We are 20 minutes and 46 seconds into this movie. Feel free to queue up your copy on physical media or a streaming service. Watch the movie along with us. Comment below in the chat. Do not forget to like and share this. And if you're watching us live on the replay, hello there. Thanks for being with us. And thank you to our panelists for not only giving us their commentary, but giving us some hot takes that are going to cause a major stir in the comments for those of you who may be watching the replay later on.
I will say, though, about Christopher Nolan, regardless of what the hell kind of movie he makes, I will go see it. He at least makes a lot of effort into making it look good. You know, he has a lot of knowledge of how to make it technically good, at least.
Good casting.
And it's at least a movie that you'll talk about afterwards.
Mm-hmm. And Nolan is one of the last directors like that at this point, who hasn't aged out. That is still a director that just because he directed it, people will see it. There really aren't many more of those anymore, right? Scorsese is pretty much retired.
Oh my gosh.
Spielberg is, he seems to
Quentin
be
Tarantino's
more or less
done.
One of his first movies just turned 50 this week, which we'll be talking about next week with Jaws. So, I mean, Spielberg isn't getting any younger, guys. I'm sorry to say. I mean, his own movie just turned 50 for Pete's sake. So, sorry, Steven. Sorry. By the way, Knee Jerk Productions is here, and they say, I also felt the movie Inception by Chris Nolan was mid-grade. Came out around the same time as Shutter Island, and I enjoyed that film just a little bit more. I'll be honest with you. Shutter Island was just, what the frack? I don't know. I didn't really like it all that much. Sorry.
It was a big mindfuck. Okay, Rachel, Katie Holmes. When I see these two on screen, I fully believe that they're friends. And also I believe that there's a romantic undertone between them, which they hint at, but they never fully go into, besides a kiss at the end. But I very much like their chemistry on screen. With Maggie Gyllenhaal, all due respect to her, I never felt that in The Dark Knight.
She was very emotional in the sequel. She's like she was very mopey, kind of,
I think Maggie Gyllenhaal does the business
actress.
part of Rachel better, like her professional career, and also what she does with Harvey Dent.
Oh,
but I never felt her chemistry with Bruce.
Oh, okay.
That was my issue.
Yeah,
Katie,
I really wish she would have come back for Dark Knight and been able to finish that character.
Yeah, we can thank Jumping Couches and Crazed Movie Stars for ruining that. So, yeah. That's why she didn't come back. Sorry, Katie. Wasn't your fault, Katie. It was the other guys, but still. So what happens when you jump on a couch, Hollis? Things just come out of you.
Joe Chill is played by Richard Brake, who I know from he's in a scene of the Kingsman: The Secret Service.
Oh,
but he's more notable for playing the Night King in Game of Thrones.
Oh, GOT. Okay. Nice.
I really think,
which I know you still haven't seen, Ryan.
Which Ryan still hasn't seen, even though Case and Melanie and everyone else.
We keep telling you to.
You keep banging down that door.
Don't do it, Ryan. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Why? Have you seen all the seasons of Game of Thrones?
No, I refuse to. So
Why?
George R.R. Martin. Okay, now you've gotten the Martin rant out of me. Okay, so George R.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, it's the writer. The writer ruined it for him.
He drew this line. I want to make it clear. He drew this line. I didn't draw the line. He drew the line. He drew a very firm line between himself and J.R.R. Tolkien.
Ooh.
And once you draw that line, I am firmly on Tolkien's side.
Oh.
So that's that. Because of his comments about Tolkien, I have zero respect for him. And because if it weren't for Tolkien, Martin would not exist. It is very obvious that he is a Tolkien fanboy. And for that reason, I can't stand him.
Oh man, he kind of dissed the Godfather of Middle Earth. That's not cool.
That's correct. So
that's no good.
He drew that line. I didn't draw the line.
I don't know,
Case. But once he drew it,
I don't know if I can watch GOT now that he's dissed my Middle Earth movie or movies. Sorry.
Also, I'd like to point out that the Lord of the
Game of
Rings
Thrones.
movies were made by a completely different team than anyone of the Tolkien family. They
Okay.
only got the
Yes.
approval to make them.
From the estate,
The
yeah.
Game of Thrones show got made by a completely different team than George R.R. Martin.
Mm.
He just gave the approval. So I feel that you can watch the show without, insulting anyone.
Mm.
Whatever.
All right.
Again, Martin and I are never going to get along, I think, and I am not
All
going
right.
to waste my time watching
okay.
anything
All right,
related
all right.
to his property.
At the end of the day, it's my choice. I can sit down and watch
Sure.
Game of Thrones, and then I'll text Case and Melanie and all our friends who was banging down that door to say, Ryan, you got to see Game of Thrones. What is wrong with you? Watch Game of Thrones. I'm like, all right, I finally saw it. Jeez, get off my back already. Anyway, talk more about that later. But yeah, no, the relationship between Rachel and Bruce in this movie is very real to me. It's like they've known each other for years. Katie Holmes plays it,
Yeah.
and people pick on Katie Holmes. She's a good actress. She's good.
Yeah.
She is a good actress.
She has her
Yeah.
moments. Is she the greatest of all time? No, but she has her moments like any
She
other
works
actor
in this
would.
movie.
Yeah.
She works really well in this movie. I mean, it's a limited
Does.
screen time, right, Case? But she works for it.
And as a character who is completely original, right? She's not in the source material
She's not
at
in
all.
any of the comics. No
She
comics.
still brought something, right?
She
She
did.
wasn't just like a token character that the director put in because he wanted to make up a character. Like
No.
there's a real function for her in this story.
And it gives a
which you
connection to
see
Bruce's
here.
past. Yeah.
Yes. And also
Mm-hmm.
pushes him towards the future, right? Because she's the one who gets him past just being this mopey emo 20-year-old
I
who
mean,
wanted to kill Joe Chill, right?
well, yeah. Well, look
Which-
at this is a big difference from what we talked about last week. I mean, Chase Meridian was trying to seduce the Bat and Bruce Wayne at the same time, whereas Rachel Dawes' character, she stands out a bit more. I'm just saying, even though Nicole Kidman's a very beautiful woman, but still, Katie Holmes
the
works
slap,
here.
2 slaps.
2 slaps. It's like how
Such a great
dare
scene.
you? How dare you say that? Your
Yeah.
father would be ashamed of you. See, I mean, she just calls him out on his BS. By the way, Knee Jerk Production says, for me, it felt like they were what is it called? Shoehorning the romance in all 3 movies from Chris Nolan with Rachel Dawes' character. It's a B plot that really never gelled is what you're saying. I'm sorry, never really gelled. I mean, it works in this movie though. And then he goes on to say, George R.R. Martin even named one of his characters Samwise Gamgee and made him the lovable guy that stands with Jon freaking Snow. Wow.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm telling
Okay.
you. I'm telling you.
That's
anyway,
a problem.
I don't want to keep I don't want to keep ranting about Martin.
It's okay.
We'll
it's a
stop.
problem.
We'll stop.
Let's
Okay.
see. He also says, I feel a little differently about that, buddy, but that's just art, to each their own. See, there you go. That's to each their own. Everything is subjective, guys. It happens to all of us. Hey, look, it's Tom Wilkinson. By the way, R.I.P. Tom Wilkinson is no longer with us, but he is one of the great character actors of all time.
I think that it's worth pointing out that a lot of the problems that were in the older Batman movies, like Batman Forever, and especially Batman versus Robin, is people point to like the numerous villains and trying to juggle all of them in those movies, and they kind of drown out in some ways Batman, especially in Batman and Robin. This movie has a lot of villains in it. It's got Falcone, it's got Scarecrow later on, it's got
Ra's al Ghul.
That's right.
League
And
of
yet
Shadows.
it works. And I think one of the reasons it works so well is because the villains aren't the focus, right? They're there, but Batman as the
Bruce Wayne.
protagonist is the focus of the movie. And you don't need the villains more than you show them. And I think that in that way, they actually balance out really well because not any one of them steals the stage.
Oh, that was also a big difference in terms
Between
of
this-
how the old movies were made. With the old movies, they
Oh my
always
God.
wanted to have a grand entrance for every single villain. Like, oh, look, here is Two-Face, and here's the Riddler, and here's... And with this one, they appear because the story asks for it.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Got Mr. Iceman, the Poison Ivy. Sorry.
So,
And that
Oh, bad.
Like, Brian, I understand that Batman 89 is your favorite, but I have never much cared for
It's
it
okay.
because it's
Me
very
either.
campy like that. And considering that these movies were my introduction, I was like, wow, that's different.
Yeah,
No,
I'm sorry, Ryan, but I'm going to say it too. The older I've gotten, the more I've come to dislike the Tim Burton
Ooh.
movies.
okay.
And part of my reason for that is Tim Burton is not really interested in Batman.
No.
He's interested in the villains.
Yeah.
And the first Batman movie, really, the Joker is the protagonist, and then
He
they
got
kill
top
him
billing.
off at the end.
And he got top billing.
And the same way in Batman Returns, right? Like he's much more interested in Penguin and Catwoman
Yeah.
than he is Batman.
Playing with
And-
toys.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I like Batman. So for that reason, I like this movie a lot better because it really is Batman's
Well,
story,
If
not
we're
anybody else's story.
well, let me what do you call it here? Let me set the record straight for everybody listening or watching. So when it comes to Batman, my favorite one is the 89, but when it comes to the best, which is a completely separate list from anything that I'm about to say, the best Batman movie for me is this one. Is Begins,
This
because I did a rewatch of this a couple weeks ago. It's called Research, folks, in preparation for this show. And in preparation for this show, and I'm rewatching this, I'm thinking to myself, okay, as now that I'm more versed in how films work and how stories are told, especially with me, I just started writing again, and I'm writing short stories, and I'm getting a lot of advice from the people I'm in a writer's Discord with, and we've been discussing how you establish character and how you establish feelings and how you're supposed to feel as a reader or as a viewer. This movie just does 1,000 times better job than Tim Burton's 89 film does. Hence the reason why I believe this is the best Batman movie, whereas Batman 89 is going to be my favorite because it was the first one that I saw, Hollis. So I'm always going to have a beautiful soft
I
spot for
understand
89,
that.
but Batman Begins is the best one because it's well told, well casted, well rendered, and the score just brings you in from beginning to end. So Hans Zimmer, well
Yes.
done, man. Well done. So yeah, just to let everybody know, Batman Begins is the best. Batman 89 is my favorite. That's all. There you go. So we're all
And that
friends
is
now.
fine.
All three of us are
That
friends
is
now.
fine.
So it all
There we
works.
go. Yep.
Yeah. Batman Begins is the best because I did a rewatch of it 3 weeks ago to prepare for this show. And now I'm realizing, oh yeah, this movie's not just good, it's great and it's perfect. So there you go. No qualms.
It's really good.
It is
No
really good.
qualms.
I would say
It is.
that I think Mask of the Phantasm is better than this as an origin story. And I also prefer The Dark Knight over this one.
Oh,
This one is great though.
Okay.
And the thing is that you know what the one thing is when people say that The Dark Knight is my favorite Batman movie and people say, but it's more a Joker movie, and I'm like, so it's still a great
Hey, but I
movie.
don't actually think that's true because
why is
if you
that?
clock in the numbers of how much the Joker appears in that movie,
Oh, the screen
it's
time. you mean.
actually under 20 minutes when the
20
Joker is
minutes?
actually on screen. Yes.
But then
it's
everyone
20
says,
minutes.
well, he steals every scene, and I'm like, so
Yeah, but that's fine. To
Which
me,
is
that's
fine.
fine. Like stealing
bother
the
me.
scene is okay.
Yeah, that
as
happens
long
in
as
every
he
movie.
doesn't dominate the running time.
Oh, the
And
running
Batman
time.
is
Okay.
still obviously the main character in that
He's
movie.
in it. I mean, he's in
And-
it for a good part of the film. So,
So.
I didn't know that Joker's only in Dark Knight for 20 flipping minutes because it seems like he's in it a lot more. But then again,
that's the thing.
I see it differently.
Every single time that the Joker shows up, you are glued to the screen because you're loving his
Exactly.
performance.
That's true.
Because
I'll give you
He
that.
steals every scene.
I
But
agree.
there are so many other great scenes in that movie that don't include the Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire final showdown with Harvey Dent, Joker's gone at that point.
Yeah, he's
Exactly.
long. Yeah, he's long. Yeah. And it's how
The real,
Yeah, the Harvey Dent scene's like 10, 15 minutes.
Harvey Dent is
He's in it a
much
lot.
more of the main focus of the movie than the
Yeah.
Joker is. Actually.
And he does a great job too. Aaron Eckhart nailed it. So,
Mhm.
but then again, that goes towards not just the acting, but the writing of the character. So,
That is true as
the
well.
writers did an excellent job with Harvey Dent's. What do you call it? Character arc? Is that it?
Character arc, yep.
Yeah.
Character arc. Thank you. And then let me see what else is Knee Jerk Production says the movie by Batman and Robin: The Goof Factor was played out. They were still playing off the gold '60s series with Adam West and Burt Ward. Nolan and Frank Miller brought a grit everyone was hungry for when it comes to
that is
Batman.
true.
And yes, he's not wrong. You're not wrong. Knee Jerk Productions, which by the way, it's a very unique name for username on YouTube, but we appreciate you all the same, honestly. And by the way, the game of deception that Bruce is playing here, that's smart.
It's very smart.
And
it's important because it shows you he's not just somebody who's now got fighting skills, but he's actually intelligent too.
He's got deception skills too.
Yeah.
You cannot leave.
He outsmarted his teacher.
Boom. And then Ken Watanabe's like, yay, he won the challenge. Yay.
Wait, am I ahead of you guys?
Well, I mean, for me anyway, I'm 35 minutes and 55 seconds into this movie.
The thing is, I'm at the scene where they're talking about the fact that Bruce has to kill someone and he doesn't want to do that.
That's where we're about to be right now.
I'm way ahead of you guys. Oh shit, this is
I mean, we're at the beginning of that scene right now.
Do you want me to give you another time? Do you want me to give you a timestamp?
I have another copy, so I'm gonna just cue that up quickly.
Okay, sorry. I mean,
I don't know what happened.
Let me know when you need a timestamp. I can give you one.
DC.
This is one of those really cool scenes too, and it
has to make a decision.
It has to make a choice, right? And that is in like the hero's journey plot type. There always comes a point where he's got to make a fundamental choice that'll decide what kind of person.
What was the timestamp again?
Oh, it's 36 minutes and 47 seconds right now.
47. I'm at 50 something.
All right. We're now at 37 minutes even. So,
yeah. And this is another thing that I think Nolan did a good job doing. Again, yes, this movie is grittier, especially than like Batman and Robin. And yet, it's really got a very strong ethical core in that it introduces for the first time in the movies the idea that Batman doesn't kill people. Right. And that
even though he kills people in every other movie he's been in.
Up till this point, yeah. Well, I don't think he kills anybody in Batman and Robin, but it's been a hot minute since I watched that one. But up until that, and that again, people disagree with me. That's fine, but I think that's one of the most interesting versions of the Batman character is one where he doesn't kill people, and so I like that Nolan.
In this movie, he doesn't want to kill anybody.
I think it very much shows the exact character that Bruce Wayne wants to portray, where he's like he wants to be a symbol for the people that they can look up to, and people will not look up to a killer because killing is what separates him from the criminals he's fighting. The criminals have no code, no moral ethics. They will just kill. They don't care. But he has that code. He has that mentality where he will not kill a person because it's not right to do, and people cannot look up to that. And I think this movie shows that so well.
That's a valid. What was I going to say earlier? That's a valid point. Knee Jerk Production says, if it's easier, just call me Freddy. You have no relation to Freddy Krueger, though, do you? Because Freddy Krueger comes to people in their dreams and kills them. So I don't know if I can get with that. But no, I'm just joshing you, Freddy. And then he goes on to say, here's a question for the panel. Do you guys like Frank Miller's run of the comics when it comes to Batman? I've seen others who like the movies but don't care for Miller as a writer. I'm a bit more of a Miller fan for the Sin City series of comics that he wrote. I mean, I haven't read any of the Sin City comics, and I've read Batman Year One time, and I didn't love it. I mean, I liked it. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't hate it by any stretch. But it's fine. It's fine. I think I need to read a bit more of Miller's work to say whether or not I'm a Frank Miller fan per se. But, I liked Batman Year One. I haven't seen the animated movie. They did an adaptation of it from DC Animated Universe films. But as far as Sin City goes, I've only seen the 2 movies, guys. I haven't read any of the Sin City comics. So, I don't know. Any thoughts on Frank Miller's run of the comics there, Hollis?
I've got a lot of opinions about Frank Miller. I will censor myself on this show. Okay. But here's what I will say. Okay. Frank Miller, I find to be one of the most annoying writers in comic books. Annoying in this way.
Okay.
Because some of the stuff he does, I think, is really brilliant and cool. Like, for instance, I think that the basic idea of The Dark Knight Returns, which was his first major Batman thing, was really cool. Yeah. I like the idea of a middle-aged Bruce Wayne coming out of retirement. There's other stuff in that novel I just think is bananas.
Mhm.
I like also how he ended the Joker Batman story in that graphic novel. I think that that's, to me, the coolest way for
Yep.
Batman and the Joker story to end. At the same time, Frank Miller does a lot of stuff that really bugs me. Like I said, I'm going to censor myself and just bad talking him. And here's the thing. There used to be a joke before Stan Lee, God rest his soul, passed away, that like if you went to Comic Cons like the Dallas Fan Expo, which I went to back in the day, and you saw Stan Lee and Frank Miller right next to each other. Frank Miller is like 30 years younger than Stan Lee, but he looked older than Stan Lee when Stan Lee was like 89. And that was very obviously a result of all the drugs Frank Miller did. And there are certain things comics Frank Miller has done where I think it's pretty obvious that he's under the influence. So in a nutshell, that's my Frank Miller take.
Okay. All right. Hey, I appreciate your thoughts and thank you for being, censoring yourself because we're trying to keep this Batman Begins and family friendly here on the air, guys. But still, I'm sure you'll have an episode of Comic Story or Sunday Morning Superheroes that can dive into Batman's comic book history a little bit deeper when you have an opportunity to do so.
At some point, Kelly and I are going to have to talk about him in Comic Story.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk about the Dark Knight Returns in specific and some other Frank Miller storylines.
Sure.
Very important.
Yeah, that'd be a great episode. We look forward to listening to that once you and Kelly get it into production. We're excited.
There we go.
Hey, look,
now, this is not an original thought that I'm about to say, but like my favorite Alfred of all time is
Caine.
the Chris Nolan movies. Alfred, just so great, 100%.
Yep. He's really good. There's no doubt. I mean, Michael Caine's one of the greatest actors of all time. So, I mean, the guy played Scrooge. The guy played Scrooge, guys. He played
Muppets.
Scrooge with Muppets.
Yes.
And he treated them like human beings because as a very, what do you call it? Like Shakespearean, like theater actor, he's like, I'm not going to look at these characters as Muppets. They are actual people that I am talking with. I'm not going to abuse that. I'm not going to throw them against the wall as a puppet because they're not puppets to me. They're real life human beings in the scenery. And I'm like, dang, very few actors are willing to do that when it comes to being on a lifted stage with Muppets. Do you see what I'm saying, Hollis? Very few actors are willing to accept that, much less do it. So my hat's off to Michael Caine because you're in my favorite holiday movie of all time, which is The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Mine too.
Yeah, it's my favorite holiday movie.
I agree.
There's some great ones out there, Case, but Muppet Christmas Carol just happens to be mine.
Mine too.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, we're even. And we're going to be celebrating, what is it, the 35th of Home Alone. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Home Alone turns. Is that true?
Turns 35. Don't
It's
feel too
35,
old.
isn't it?
Hear that?
I know. I was about to say, just making us all feel old.
I know. Case and I are going to be. Some of us are going to be sitting here in the studio, and later in the year, towards December, and we're like, oh my gosh, this movie's 35. How is that even possible, Case?
Look, to be fair, I wasn't born when Home Alone came out.
Home Alone came out.
At least I don't remember that.
No.
But the fact that we were watching Batman Begins, and I remember seeing that as a kid, and it was a huge thing. And now it's 20 years later. I'm like, okay.
Where's the time go, Case? That's my question. By the way, this is our introduction to Cillian Murphy as an actor, and boy, does he pull this. By the way, he pulls this off so good, and yet I think it was the same year this occurred, if not like in and around this time. He was also in a thriller by Wes Craven, Red Eye, with Rachel McAdams, playing
Which we're doing a watch-along for later this year.
Oh, okay, there you go. It's 20th, right? Because that came out in 2005, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's the same.
So he does a Chris Nolan Batman movie, and then 2 minutes later, he's doing an airplane thriller with Rachel freaking McAdams, one of the most beautiful women on God's green earth. And it's directed by Wes Craven, okay? That's how great of an actor Cillian Murphy is. So
at this point, he had already starred in 28 Days Later.
Sorry, I haven't seen it. I can't comment or speculate.
No, I know. I also haven't seen it, nor have I seen the sequel or the new one that is playing in theaters right now.
Oh, sorry.
But he had been in it, and it was a critically well-regarded movie.
But he does a really good job in this, and then he's in Red Eye like 2 minutes later. It's insane.
Yeah, it's the same year,
which is crazy. It's great. Like Cillian Murphy he had a heck of a year for what is it called? His fucking Filmography. That's it. Thank you. What was it? Red Eye is. I don't know when we're doing it. I have no idea.
The 8th of August.
Oh, so it's in a couple weeks. Boom. There you go. It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, I think
August.
6 weeks.
Which is the summer, still the summer season. Knee Jerk Production says, I love Michael Caine, but what about Sean Pertwee from the Gotham TV series? I didn't mind him either. He was a good. Listen, there's a lot of great Alfreds out there. I mean, Michael Caine's definitely probably one of the best, if not the best, according to some of us here in the studio. Sure, Sean Pertwee from the Gotham Fox TV series, he was good too. I didn't mind him either. And then who was Alfred in the most recent one? It was Andy freaking Serkis.
And the Circus.
So it's like, they have a really good way of picking great actors to play the character of Alfred, don't they, Case?
I actually thought Jeremy Irons was very good.
Oh, he was good too. Yeah.
If only he'd
like,
have had
as much as I didn't like the movies that he was in, I thought he was good as Alfred.
Snyderverse, Snyderverse Hollis, he did a good job with what he was given, right? I mean,
they all tried. That's what I'll say.
That's his best conclusion for Hollis. Like, oh, they tried.
Yeah. So this shot right here.
Oh man,
this is so good. Also, the music with it.
He embraces his destiny right here. It's
so
like,
great.
yep, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to be. This is how I'm going to protect Gotham. This is it. Mm-hmm. He embraces it. Look at that. Torch in his right hand.
And it shows you, again, the fact that his training did work because he has been terrified of bats since he was a kid. And now he's able to embrace that and overcome that fear.
Oh, we found out he's working with Falcone. This is interesting. I'm bringing you the shipments, and we're paying you off for that.
Interesting. You say Falcone, not Falcone.
Sorry, Falcone.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's funny essentially how in this one they say Falcone, and in the Batman they say Falcone.
Yeah,
it's the same character.
In the same character, different pronunciation. Yeah. And when he gets here, he's not going to want to hear.
To your point that you made earlier, once again, the introduction of the villains in this movie is very subtle because when they introduced Caine a minute ago, there was no like eating of scenery. There was no like creepy guy vibes. It just seemed like this sleazy psychiatrist testifying. And once again, the villains are they're there and they're important, but they're downplayed compared to Jim Carrey and Batman Forever type thing.
Another good character actor because it's funny because just a year or two before this movie had come out, he was playing Morgan Edge in the Smallville television series for the WB with Tom Welling and John Glover. Speaking of DC alumni, John Glover's a DC alum, playing the voice of the Riddler in the animated series of Batman, and he was the doctor who brought Bane to life in that hashtag film that never happened called Batman and Robin. But still, hey, John had a paycheck. It's good for you, John. But yeah, Rutger Hauer.
I love that moment when she's just like, "What's your name, Bruce Wayne?"
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, "Oh shit."
Because remember, they had declared him dead, and so him showing up is ruining like everything that the stockholders are trying to do with Wayne Industries.
You're supposed to be dead. Sorry to disappoint.
And he does disappoint them.
Sorry to disappoint because he's not dead. Hey, did you hear the news? Who? Wayne. It's been all over the news. He's back. Katie Holmes is like, I need a minute.
Yep.
You realize I just can't stop something known as a big machine. Too many wheels are turning. We're taking the company public. I understand. And I'll be handsomely rewarded for my shares, of course. I'm not looking to interfere. Just want to get a look at the company my father built. I'm just looking for a job. I'm not sure who med the suits for this movie, but I'm assuming it's Tom Ford or whoever, because they're ridiculously good-looking suits, Hollis.
Shall I look up the costume
designer? If you want the costume designers, if you want to, I don't know if, it's probably not Tom
There are
Ford.
really brilliant costumes, I think, in this. And once again, I would argue that they work so well because they are subdued, right?
Lindy Henry.
Thank you. No production on any level whatsoever. We've heard the name Lucius Fox mentioned in other iterations of Batman, but we've never actually seen Lucius Fox. He makes a cameo in Batman TAS, but that was like one episode. In this one, you actually get more background on him.
This is a pretty experienced costume designer.
Oh.
Most recently did Wonka,
Oh, there
the
you
Wonder
go.
Woman movies, the Dark Knight trilogy,
There you go.
Casino Royale.
Which is a great movie.
Yeah. Oh, and actually a bunch of Bond movies.
Oh, there you go.
So that's the thing. Suits, Bond, there you go.
Bond, yeah. Which next year, well, later this year, we got 30 years worth of GoldenEye to talk about, and then the following year, we got 20 years of Casino Royale to sit down and talk about, and then Case and I are going to be sitting here.
Oh, Casino Royale is turning 20. Fuck's sake.
I know, and that's next year for us, man. It's next year, Hollis. Casino Royale turns 20 next year. Fasten your seatbelt. I know.
Like you were saying about Lucius Fox, again, a character who is not really that interesting or that well developed in the other media, right? Batman the animated series, the comics. But as soon as you cast Morgan Freeman, he is going to take that character and turn him into something awesome.
Yeah, which he does here, right? And then he enhances it in the other two in the follow-up movies. You're expecting to run into much, gunfire in these caves? I'd rather Mr. Earl not know about spelunking. Spelunking, spelunking, like cave diving. Way I see it, all this stuff of yours. Anyway.
I really love that dynamic they have between the two of them in this movie, where later on they actually break this, but in Batman Begins, they never actually discuss Batman, but it's very understood between the two of them what is actually going on. Like, Lucius is aware of what he's doing.
And that's something that I'm glad that they at least address it. I think it's actually in The Dark Knight. They don't really address it in this one, but in the next one, Lucius at one point is like, "Look, I know what you're doing. Just I'll get you the stuff. Just shut up about it, okay? Like, we know."
Exactly.
These caverns came in handy. See, and then we get more history about the Wayne family and what they've done in history. I mean, it's the little things, guys. It's little details and Easter eggs that are planted in these movies that count, right, Hollis? I mean, the Easter eggs are everywhere. So. Yeah. I can see everything all right from down here, so thank you very much. Alfred, you guys see this? It's like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
And again, the number of payoffs, right? Like how in the League of Shadows, they had the wrist things, and then he incorporates that into the bat suit. Like, a lot of things. Works really, really well.
Yeah. See, we ordered the main part of this cow from Singapore via Dummy Corporation. Indeed. Yeah, and quite separately, we place an order to a Chinese company for these.
You have to just do the accent, though. The impression.
Precisely that. I'm sorry. I mean, I've seen so many movies with Michael Caine in them. I just kind of got the accent built into my DNA. For those of you wondering what the Bantha fodder is going on, which is a completely different word from a completely different movie, we are 53 minutes and 27 seconds into the movie Batman Begins, celebrating 20 years of greatness. Do not forget to like and share this with your closest friends. If you're watching this live or what is known as a replay, hello there. And if you want to chime in along with us, let us know in the comments or the chat. Watch the movie along with us in the comfort of your own home on physical media or a streaming service. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this movie or anything regarding the Batman character, because Lord knows the chat room has been very busy with some feelings about Batman and some things that are outside of the Batman-ology. And Hollis is doing a very good job of keeping himself respected and restrained and well-suited, well-mannered. I mean, you're kind of acting like a mild-mannered reporter for some newspaper called like the Daily Planet or something. I don't know. But
I have to make sure I don't say anything crazy that hurts comicsology, because then I'll have to answer to Kelly. So,
Which, speaking of which, I just got a text here, Hollis. Did you know they're doing a show tonight? The ladies over there at Cosplay Cafe have a show going on right now.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's called. They're calling this the episode called "The Cosplayer Behind the Curtain."
Okay.
So I'm wondering if this is about one of the main members of the team, or maybe it just has something to do with, the guest that they have this week. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
By the way, I love the fact that because the first time I saw this movie, I actually thought he was using a gun. Turns out he's just using a stapler.
That's the whole point, is he's trying to make Gordon think it's a gun, though.
We need a DA who's willing to prosecute Rachel Dawes.
After I just said those things about Miller, I got to throw him a bone. So the way they adapt Gordon is kind of straight up from Miller in year one. And I think Frank Miller, I think he said that if you're going to do a realistic Batman story, one of the things that has to be present is a corrupt police force. Because if you're going to do something that relates to the real world, like this movie is trying to do, the existence of Batman doesn't really make sense if you have a police force that actually works.
Mhm.
So the fact that he makes it clear that Gordon is like literally the only cop who's not taking bribes
Yeah.
and stuff, like works really, really well.
Just some-
Mhm. What the hell was that? Just some nut. Anyway, yeah, it was just some crazy guy. I don't know who that was. Spelunking. What is
I
it today?
like, by the way,
More spelunking?
about essentially just now he had to jump off a building, and then he figured out, wait, I need something to jump off a building and not get completely bruised everywhere. So that then gives him the idea of the cape.
Yep.
And I like how essentially in these movies, his armor, his entire costume develops based on situations that he finds himself in. The next movie, at one point, he's like, I want to turn my head because it's very uncomfortable not to be able to turn your head.
Which we've learned in other iterations
Yeah.
of Batman.
And I like that.
Memory
Because
cloth.
again, this is a movie where everything has to be realistic, right? Everything in this movie has to be something related to the real world.
Yep.
Therefore, even the style of the costume, like you're saying, it couldn't just be, well, because it looks cool and Batman looks cool, so there you go. There had to be some kind of practical reason for it.
Yeah.
Which is so cool, in my opinion. Like, that was one of the coolest things.
Oh, the tumbler.
What's that exactly?
Yes!
Tumblr? Oh, you and me.
Oh, one of the coolest Batmobiles
But-
ever.
By the way, Freddie says Morgan Freeman might have the best line in the entire trilogy regarding the employee that wants to blackmail Bruce Wayne, but that's in the next movie, not this
Yeah,
one.
that's a very good line.
Yeah, and then he drops the magic words. Good luck. Good luck with that. Yeah. Oh, the Tumblr? You wouldn't be interested in that, Hollis.
So cool. I had the toy of this when I was a kid.
Oh, nice. Right
so
now.
cool.
And then they have the computer in the car that does all the talking and kind of like can operate as an autopilot kind of thing.
Yep.
I'm surprised they didn't name the voice of the Tumblr Vicky. You know, they could have done a wink and a nod to Burton's film. So, you know.
They could have.
They could have. Computer blimps quickly. So what do you think?
Does it come in black?
That's just,
such a great
oh my
line.
gosh. That's great. I need you at the docks Thursday. Problems? Hey, speaking of Memento, that guy's a Memento. I know him.
Mark Boone Jr.
Yeah, I know him.
I know him from Too Fast, Too Furious, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because he was in that 2 years prior to this. That's right. He plays the dirty cop again.
Yeah, he plays the exact same character. That I found it very funny because I had seen Too Fast and Furious, and then I watched this movie, and I'm like, wait a moment,
That's
it's him
the guy.
again. Wait a moment, he plays the same character.
Plays the same character he did in the last movie I just saw 2 years ago.
Sadly, typecasting is a thing.
Nah.
It can happen.
Sometimes things just go bad. Breaks it with a hammer. The problem with the graphite, sir.
Yeah, didn't work.
The next 10,000 will be
Yeah,
specifications.
they had to order 10,000,
That's right.
Right.
which is close to the amount of Lego parts that I had to order in the past couple of weeks.
Are you serious?
There you go.
Jeez.
Uh,
Did you build everything yet, or you still got another
no,
one?
no,
you're
no,
working on?
I'm still building.
What are you building? I can't see it. What is it?
I can give you a.
Can we get a preview of this? Is that legal?
Preview.
What
There
is
you
that?
go.
What is that?
This is one segment.
Oh, jeez.
I will. But check out the video tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to see that because now you got me. I'm like, what is that? Looks like a piece of land.
It's Jeddah City. as we
Oh,
see
the
it
Jeddah
on-
City. Okay.
At least the beginnings of it.
Oh, okay. Jeddah City. Got it. Now I know what I'm doing. Let's see. What was it that Freddie just said? I really appreciate the movies, or excuse me, the more realistic version of Batman in this case.
Yeah.
This is the way I want my superheroes: vulnerable, human, as well as flawed. I don't mind that at all. Actually, I think that's great
I
in
think-
storytelling.
It works really well, I think.
I think
Once again, this is
it works great in storytelling in general. Wouldn't you say, Hollis?
Mhm. I agree. Most people, I don't believe that you actually can't have an interesting story with a character who doesn't have flaws. I think there are, for instance, Superman stories that work really well with a Superman who is
Flawed.
pretty much perfect morally. It's harder, but you can do it. But this is definitely my favorite film version of Batman, because that to me, that's the difference between Batman and Superman. Superman is like this almost angelic character that you look up to, whereas Batman is a human, right? He can bleed, he can die. He knows every time he goes into a fight, he might not come back from it. And again,
makes it more realistic.
Cool. More realistic,
exactly.
yeah. Good point. Good point, gentlemen.
And again, they do that consistently because they also. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, no, you go first.
Even the villains that they pick to use in these movies, you don't see the over-the-top villains that couldn't exist in the real world.
No,
right?
nothing like we got last week with Batman Forever, right, Hollis?
No.
Nothing like Riddler and what's his face, Two-Face playing the Joker, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, and even then, like more so, like you would never see Killer Croc in these movies. You would never see,
Suicide Squad,
those types of characters because they're just not realistic, right? You're just not going to have an alligator guy, as fun as that is, right? You're just not going to have that in the real world.
Well,
and so,
in fairness, if you had said Scarecrow before this movie, you would not be able to picture him the way that he's presented in this movie. The way that they made the design for Scarecrow is very different than anyone would probably think of when you mention the character.
Agreed.
But they found a creative way of making him scary as hell.
But still subdued, right? Because he's not actually in like a whole Scarecrow suit. It's just the mask over like his normal business suit. And once again, it's a lot more scaled back, right? Like if Schumacher ever made his third Batman movie with Scarecrow, you would have seen a Scarecrow that's, over the top. It would be
the Wizard of Oz Scarecrow.
Wizard of Oz.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wizard of Oz Scarecrow. Lord. I don't know if
Which
I can
again would have been fun. I kind of
maybe.
I
don't know.
I'm kind of sad that movie never got made because the idea for it sounds really fun to me. Well, but if that movie had gotten made, we maybe wouldn't have ever got Batman Begins. So,
If we didn't give Mr. Bully the Iceman, we wouldn't have gotten Batman Begins. So we got to give. There's a little bit, just a tiny, even though I don't want to say it, a little bit of credit to hashtag this film never happened, because if it weren't for that film that did happen, we wouldn't have gotten this great film known as Batman Begins 8 years later. Am I right? So there is that.
Also, we are right now over an hour into the movie, and this is the first time he actually appears in a suit.
It kind of, that kind of reminds me of a movie we're going to be discussing in a week, where we don't see the lead character of that movie until almost halfway through, right? Isn't that true? Like almost halfway through, we don't even see the shark until halfway through the movie.
Batman.
It's insane. And his name is Bruce the Shark, that we're going to be talking about ad nauseum next week when we do our 50th anniversary watch along of Jaws, which is going to be featuring special guests. Indie author Bobby Nash is going to be with us that night, and Austin is going to be with us that night. He's going to be wearing a very special tailored suit for that Jaws festivities, and I'm sure Bobby Nash is going to be wearing his Jaws suit or Jaws t-shirt too. I don't know, Bobby, do you have one? I hope you have a Jaws t-shirt, because I bought one just for this episode. Okay, I bought a Jaws t-shirt, Hollis, on tpublic.com. Hashtag not a sponsor, but I wanted to make sure I have one because Jaws turns 50, and that's a big deal. So Rachel Dawes is going to defend herself with a taser. Don't tase me, bro.
By the way, to go back for a moment in discussion of like who's your favorite, Batman or Superman, and why it's Batman, and why actually Superman has never related to me up until Man of Steel. Man of Steel was the first time when they made Superman a controversial figure and have him have very big moral issues, which I think grounded him to a point where it's like, okay, he feels a lot more relatable in this movie than in any of the previous four. I've seen all four Superman movies, the old ones with Christopher Reeve. I was fine with the first two, the third and fourth, not so much.
Hashtag never happened.
But I just never really cared for the first two Superman movies because I was like, Superman is a Boy Scout and there's not much to his character and I don't find it particularly relatable. And then with Man of Steel, that was actually the first one. Also then to figure out that Chris Nolan helped make the movie, it's like, oh, that makes sense because he did the same thing for Batman here.
Yeah. Which is
the first one. And that's why the quality of Man of Steel, once again, might get blasted, but I'm going to be honest. There's a reason why Man of Steel, I think, is is a higher quality than Batman v Superman, and the difference is Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
Right, because Chris
He
Nolan
produced it.
was
Yeah.
involved
Yeah.
with Man of Steel, but
Very
he
heavily
wasn't involved
involved.
afterwards. Yeah.
No, they just slap his name on it. And they're like, yeah, he showed up for set. No, he didn't. Nobody cared. He collected a paycheck, which is fine. It happens all the time. By the way, Freddie goes on to say he's got a few things to say about Batman and Superman. He says, Superman for me is a mostly boring character. There are a couple of times I enjoy Superman, such as the Injustice series, whether it's the video games or the comic books. That is a fair point. I need to relate
Good
to the
shot, by the
characters.
way.
I get that. What's
Yes,
that?
brilliant shot that
Shot.
we're at right now.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
standing there.
Standing on top of the building. Yeah, that's what was I gonna say? That's very, very good. And then him using Falcone's body as the bat signal, like an early precursor to the bat signal. That was like I said, Easter eggs, guys. Freddie says this version of Scarecrow and Batman Begins is amazing for me because I wanted more of him. He's in all three films, but he was underutilized in my opinion when it came to the sequels. By the way, Cillian Murphy actually auditioned for the Batman role for this movie.
He did audition.
He did audition. Yeah, he had a screen test. Yep, I believe he did. Yeah.
I think
And then
so.
he says,
yeah.
and then he says, "Don't sleep on that third movie. We get drunk Superman." in that
No.
movie." No.
By the
no.
way, we got drunk Superman, but also drunk Richard Pryor, which is not a good thing.
No. Hashtag movies never happened. Sorry, guys. Judges. I'm sorry. Your answer must be in the form of a question, right, Hollis? But thank you for playing. Oh. By the way, bats are nocturnal. Even billionaire Playboy's case. 3 o'clock was pushing it. Your theatrical.
Hey, when I have my night shift, I wake up at 4. So it's
Hey,
fine.
I wake up at 7. I wake up at 7, Case.
7 in the evening?
Yes, to go to my
something
night
else.
to go to my night shift at 9, man.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that. Case and I have to put up with very bad overnight schedules. So, well, for me, it's the worst. Case makes it work in his case. For me, I absolutely hate it. I hate it.
You always have night shifts, right?
I do 24/7, and it's 5 days a week for 40 plus hours straight.
I only have it once every 3 weeks. I just had it this past week.
Oh, never mind. So yeah, different. You're right. Different schedule. Different.
It shifts for me.
And it shifts, and it's a different scheduling thing there. So yeah, you're right. Sorry, but you do make it work, Case. You make it work, and that's
Not anymore. I quit.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So no, it was my own decision.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, it's not particularly interesting. Nothing to do with the movie, but this next week on Tuesday will be my final working day where I work.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, wish you the best of luck with whatever this new chapter of yours is going to be. You know, we're all pulling. I mean, I'm pulling for you. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work, man. But yeah, what was it, Freddie? Don't ever talk about that third movie again. You hear me? Don't ever talk about that again.
Oh,
Don't ever do it. See, he did it again. He says, "What is? Don't sleep in the."
Yeah, he listened to you. He listened to you, Ryan. He did it in the form of a question.
He saw it in theaters, and that robot scene was terrifying for me as a kid. Yeah, I'm sure it was, but I couldn't even get past the opening credits of Superman 3 because it was so bad. Okay, guys. So get
the
away.
opening credits are pretty shit.
They're terrible. Listen.
Really bad.
Well, first of all, I watched 5 minutes of it a couple months ago, and I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. And then many eons ago, Case, just so you're aware, I did watch Superman 3, and that's why it's been so long, because I don't even remember what happens in the movie. I don't even remember what happened. I don't even remember the computer thing going haywire.
You know what the crazy thing is?
What?
As bad as Quest for Peace is, at least I remember stuff from it. I don't remember much from Superman 3.
I don't remember anything about 3, but I remember tons of Superman 4, because Hollis, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I was watching Superman 4, The Quest for Peace a number of times on VHS as a little kid, because I didn't know any better. Well, because I thought it was a cool movie.
I do think that the only things that are memorable from Superman 3 are the drunk Superman. That was fun. And the robot stuff.
Someone said the best scene of Superman 3 is Clark Kent versus Superman in the junkyard scene.
That's fun.
They said that was the best part of the whole movie.
It's very stupid.
Is it?
It doesn't make any sense to me, because he's fighting a physical version of himself. I'm like, how? I don't get it.
By the way, your girlfriends are making room in the pool there, but it's for decoration. It's not an actual pool. Well, they're European. Bruce, hey, this is where we get one of the most best pieces of advice in anything in life from Rachel here. In a moment. It's going to happen in a moment. I guarantee it. What are you doing? Oh, I was just
Swimming.
swimming, Hollis. I was just out swimming. Wow, it's good to see you. You were gone a long time. I know. How are things? The same. Job's getting worse. Can't change the world on your own. What choice do I have when you're too busy swimming? Rachel.
This is showing early
is
on
great.
the price he's going to have to pay for this facade, right?
Yep.
Because he has to make Bruce Wayne a character, right?
Yeah.
Like he has to make Bruce Wayne this buffoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have more. We have more hotels for you to buy. Oh, here it is, guys.
Underneath.
Oh, that's
So
great
good.
life advice, guys. That's
It
just
is. And it's one of the main themes of the whole movie.
See, I'm telling you, Katie Holmes works in this flippin' movie.
I think so.
People sleep on her, man, but she's so good in this.
It's what I said earlier, better than Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, which, like I said, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the people say in the comments during the replay, because so many people defend Gyllenhaal.
To quote, what was her name again from the
who was it?
And I can't remember her name. She was from Rotten Tomatoes. But send me your tweets.
Oh, you mean Gray Drake?
Yes.
Gray Drake, guys. We're talking about Gray Drake from NTS. Maybe try your Schmodown. Rotten Tomatoes. I know about your experiments with your inmates at your nut house. So you don't go into business with a guy without knowing all his dirty secrets. Oh, and those goons you used? I own the muscle in this time. What, by the way, what was oh, thank you, Freddie. He says, I'm reposting this episode as much as I can, guys. Maybe someone will show up soon to save me from the third movie hate that we were discussing earlier. Maybe they will.
I tried, Freddie. I tried. I threw you a bone.
Honestly, maybe. You think? I don't know. Someone tell me in the chat. Not sure I really like the what choice do I have trope. Always feel whiny and a bit insincere. We are stronger together. Just once, I'd love the character to say, you're right, let's do this together, Freddie says. I mean, well, hey, for this movie, it works for what she's conveying to Bruce. Do you see what I mean? It works. So when did the
friendly disagreements? It's all good.
Dude, that mask is it's creepy. It's creepy.
Yeah,
stuff,
it is. Man.
Well, he's not faking. Not that one. I'll talk to the judge and see if I can get him moved to a secure wing in Arkham. I can't treat him here. Oh, Cillian Murphy. Whew.
Yeah.
Creepy SOB, isn't he, Case?
Quite so.
Oh, look at this. Him on the building with the cape flowing in the wind. That's great imagery, isn't it?
The thing what I'm also very glad about is Cillian Murphy was playing a lot of side roles in Nolan movies, and that's why he never really got the spotlight. And with Oppenheimer,
oh my God,
he really got the spotlight, and he really deserved his lead actor Oscar. I think he gave a great performance as Oppenheimer in that movie.
Is it called Oppenheimer or is it called Barbenheimer? I can't remember what the name of the movie was. No, I'm just
Ryan,
kidding.
that was the double feature.
Sorry.
Which, by the way, I saw a week apart. I didn't see them in the same weekend.
Oh, you saw them a week apart. All right.
We saw Barbie first and then Oppenheimer a week later, and Oppenheimer made me fall asleep, so there's that.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
We have the beginning of the Batman-Gordon relationship.
I think you're trying to help, but I've been wrong.
Oh, by the way, again, like, you guys are not going to care, but I really care for the cameo that we have coming up in a bit.
Oh, really? I have kids to feed.
Because it's Game of Thrones, and you guys don't like.
Oh, it's a Game of Thrones one?
Yeah, we'll get to it later.
I was gonna say, yeah. Point out the Easter egg when it comes up, because I like a Game of Thrones. Haven't seen it. Can't say. And here comes the Batman voice. Where were the other drugs going?
I have to.
Oh, you have to chime in on the Batman voice?
I do, because as much as I like this movie, that is the one thing that I don't like about it.
Oh, you thought he went? Is it too much?
I I think that the way people make fun of that voice is totally justified. It is.
Oh, God.
It is not great. It is not
I
great.
think Screen Junkies and their honest trailers were saying that it's Christian Bale's ongoing battle with throat cancer.
So I got to see. Oh, a couple of times actually. I got to see Kevin Conroy in person. God rest his soul.
Oh, that's great.
Who is to me the voice of Batman?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
someone asked him about Christian Bale's Batman voice.
What did he say?
And Conroy is such a nice guy. He really complimented Christian Bale, how great of an actor he was, all that kind of stuff. And he started with that, and then he said, and I really wish that somebody would have pulled him aside on set and explained to him how to do the Batman voice, because that's just not. It just again, it's the one thing about this movie. Okay, aside from the minor nitpicky. Yes, and other stuff like that. That's one of the only real issues I have with the movie is the Batman voice.
Oh, I didn't know about this. I received a note here. I'm going to pass this on to you guys. See if you see. You can obviously read about it later. It's not important to what we're doing at this particular moment in time, but it does have to do with the comic book industry. But still, let me see. Where is it? All right, it's in the private chat for those of you wondering. Freddie says, "I don't know who Hollis is, but but he's kind of like Will Arnett's version." Oh, okay.
Here we have him. This is Joffrey Baratheon from Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. All right, the little kid. Wait a minute. Is he the one who like the really snobby, like nasty one with blonde hair? Is that the same guy?
Oh yeah, it's the one that everyone despises.
Oh, dude, that's him. That's insane.
Yeah. But
Easter egg.
It was funny because, like, I had seen Batman Begins before I watched Game of Thrones. Then I saw Game of Thrones, and I'm like, oh my god, you're such a little shit in that show.
There's a meme about that.
Is there?
Yeah, it's a meme of like Batman telling this kid, "Hey kid, make sure you don't waste your life and you grow up and do something with it."
Oh, God. Woo!
Yeah,
That's one way to go about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Present it to the other guy. By the way, oh yeah, Freddie, you were saying that you like Will Arnett's version of the Batman voice. I mean, Will Arnett and Lego
Will
Batman.
Arnett's great too.
The Lego Movie
I really
universe
enjoy it.
that Will Arnett stars in. I mean, he nails it, dude.
Yes, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I really like the Lego Batman movie.
It's hilarious,
and I really like
hilarious
him in the first Lego movie. The second Lego movie didn't do a whole lot for me.
Remember when he does
I didn't actually finish it, but the first one was good.
Wham! First try. You know, it took him like 2,000 tries to hit the button on the other side of the room. You know, you want my opinion? You need to lighten up. Jeez, Batman's suit catching on fire. That is some scary stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
It's important because this is the first time he actually loses in a fight in the movie so far.
Yeah.
So,
and he douses himself in the rainwater to get rid of the fire. Look at this. It's all over the place. Gary Oldman, to me, is one of the best to ever stand in front of a camera. The casting for this movie is stacked from end to end. Yes, it is, Freddie. 1,000%. You are not wrong in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, he's horrible, wonderful in that show. What you talking about, Will Arnett or somebody? Or no, you're talking about the guy from Game of Thrones. Yeah. Horribly wonderful, that is, when it comes to Game of Thrones and that character. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Gets on his communicator. Help, Alfred. Help. Yep. He's having mad flashbacks right now.
Yes. So another thing about Nolan and David Goyer, the screenwriter, and Jonathan Nolan, who comes in with the second movie in this trilogy, is how they made those old Batman movies is they thought about who's going to be the villain, like what villain do they want to do, and they started with that. Whereas in these movies, they started with Batman and what themes they wanted to explore, and then they thought what villains fit into that. And once again, I think that's a much better way to go about the writing, because for that reason, the reason they brought in Scarecrow in this movie was because of the fear themes that they were dealing with already, and then they realized that that villain made sense to use in the movie for that reason.
He gets poisoned, and then 2 days later, it's his birthday. It's your
Yeah.
birthday. Many happy returns. Here's your medicine. Drink up. It's hallucinogen, weaponized in aerosol form. You have been hanging out in the wrong clubs, Mr. Wayne. I called Mr. Fox from the
Oh,
condition
boy.
worsened after the first day. I seen the receptor compounds and the protein-based catalysts. Am I supposed to understand any of that? Not at all. I just wanted you to know how hard it was. I synthesized an antidote.
Such a great character.
Could you make more? You planning on gassing yourself again, Mr. Wayne? Well, you know how it is, Mr. Fox. You're out at night looking for kicks. Someone's passing around weaponized hallucinogens. I'll bring what I have. The antidote should inoculate you
Occupational
for
hazard, I
now.
suppose.
Alfred, always a pleasure. Lucius.
Yeah,
that's
I felt a bit weird about his character being Lucius, considering at the time the Harry Potter movies were coming out, and there was a
oh,
prominent that
jeez.
guy named Lucius in that.
Lucius in the Harry Potter film? Yeah, doggone it, Case. You had to mention the Potter universe, didn't you?
Hey, I like those movies. What can I say? I also
mean-
I like the books better, actually.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough. By the way, I'm just curious though. Is it true that they're rebooting the whole series with these young actors being
It is
cast as
true.
Harry, Hermione, and Ron?
It is true. I will not watch it.
Okay, because I was wondering, these kids look very young. Why are they recasting this? It doesn't make any sense. Why reboot it? It makes no sense,
They're
Case.
going to make a TV show.
Money.
Oh. Well, we all know the three of us here aren't going to watch the new
But by
Harry
the way,
Potter
it
series.
was what we were talking about earlier. When Hollywood is out of ideas, they just go
pull a
into
bag
that
out of the-
previously existing IP. Harry Potter, yeah, let's remake that.
Let's remake it with young actors, right? Aren't these kids like 10, 12 years old in the movie or something, or the series?
Yeah,
It's
they
so
started at
weird.
11.
It's so weird. And then he says it's going to be a series. Yeah, okay. Well, guess
Sure.
what? The three of us here are so excited not to watch it.
Yeah.
So
That
thanks
is
for bringing
correct.
that up, Freddie.
But I can tell you this. I am so excited to see the internet's reaction to it.
Oh, when it eventually, releases in front of an audience. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, if you want to read the Reddits or the comment threads, feel free. Look, you got to imagine they're going to lose their minds when the trailer comes out, right, Case?
Mm.
They're gonna...
All the dislikes, I can see.
Oh, there's going to be so many dislikes on that video, Case. We all know it. It's happening. It's going to happen, guys.
Okay, game of over or under. Over or under the amount of dislikes that Ghostbusters 2016 got.
Oh man, that's a
Because that
great.
one got a lot of dislikes as well.
That one's. Oh, that's so hard. That is so hard. Because of. I'm going to say slightly over. I'm going to take the over. What do you think, Hollis? You think it's going to get more dislikes than the 2016 iteration of Ghostbusters was?
I don't know, because Rowling has so many. Not Rowling. I take that back. Rowling doesn't really have a lot of fans anymore.
Not anymore.
But
No.
there are fans of Harry Potter, the franchise,
That'll take it.
who are
yeah,
going to be diehard no matter what.
probably.
And I also think that this is probably going to be Gen Z series, right? Because the people in Gen Z who grew up reading the
Right.
books
They're
after the
old
fact,
now.
this is going to be their series, and
They're
so
old
I
now,
think
yeah.
that's going to be the
Mhm.
difference.
It's going to be.
I don't
yeah.
personally have a horse in the race because
No,
I
I
am
don't.
not a Harry Potter fan
Nope.
to start with.
I
so-
respect the original. What do you call it? The movies, the books, stuff like that. But I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, but I respect it because I've seen the movies. I get to a certain extent, I get it, but like at the same time, I'm like, this fandom really isn't my style. I respect it though. I'm just not in it to win it, as one might say. What's this? Freddie says it's time to normalize remaking or rebooting bad to mid-grade movies, not the ones that are already good,
Yes.
like the Harry Potter ones.
Yes. Well, but that's kind of just it. The entire reason that they are remaking stuff that we already know is good is because people associate it to, oh, that's good, so this will be good, because that's all I know from it. And then,
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of remakes have not been that good. There are only a handful remakes that are actually good / better than the original. And usually it's the stuff that wasn't that great to begin with.
No. All right. Well, yeah. That's true.
Or you could tell in a very different way. Like, for example, when they remade Dune.
The Dune
because
movie.
the original, the 1984
David
movie
Lynch.
was terrible.
Okay. All right,
And
David.
then they were like, okay, let's make a movie based on the book, not based on the previous movie, based on the book.
The book.
And it was much better.
The book. Yeah. Freddie goes on to say, honestly, the Nolan Batman movies are the only ones that I'm going to go back and rewatch. I don't like Ben Affleck's iteration or Robert Pattinson as Batman, and the stories were mid-grade at best. Yes, that includes the Batman. All right, fair. Hey, to each their own. To each their own.
Thank you for saying that, Freddie. I don't care for the Batman either.
It's okay. It's all right. And then he goes on to say, remakes and reboots equal cash grab, Hollis.
That's right.
Woo! There's your formula, Hollis. There it is.
It really depends on, again, remakes and reboots, as this movie shows, can be good if you've got somebody who actually has an idea and passion for how to make it work. But if it's just a studio decision for a cash grab, then not so much. And to be fair, Nolan was not the only one who wanted to make this reboot, right? Like, there were other directors out there wanting to make their own version of Batman. Nolan was just the one that the studio happened to pick because they liked the most.
And
I'm trying to remember.
God he did.
Yeah, I know, right? There was another guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he was going to make a movie titled Batman Year One, though it was only loosely based on Frank Miller. It was going to feature a Batman basically without money, where it was going to be Bruce Wayne. The night his parents were murdered, he just wanders off and he's raised on the streets. And Alfred was going to be a mechanic rather than a butler. And he was going to take a very different approach to the origin. And again, I don't think it would have been a great movie. It would have been interesting, but that's, once again, to show Batman is a character that at least is interesting enough to where multiple people were actually interested in trying to do their own take on it, which is different from the studio, like you were saying, reaches into the hat, pulls out an IP, and then assigns somebody to it.
That's what you very much see nowadays with the studio system, that so many studios are way too afraid to lose a successful franchise, so that they are essentially forced to just remake the stuff that they've already made so that they can keep the rights, so that they can keep making money off of it for the sake of it, but without really adding anything to it. That's why we're still getting, Jurassic Park movies, also because they are, they are making money, but they're not good. None of the Jurassic World movies, I will say the first one was good, but the other ones have been absolutely terrible. But they still make money because it's like, ooh, dinosaurs on screen. People will go see it.
It's the same thing with the Disney remakes.
Yeah, all the Disney live-action remakes. Like, oh, but Lilo and Stitch will be... No. Oh, but How to Train Your Dragon, by the way, that's not Disney. But no, How to Train Your Dragon is exact same movie as the previous one. So if you like the previous one, fine. It's just, it doesn't offer anything new. Except for half an hour more runtime for some reason.
Oh, man. I got to tell you, when we were in the theater watching this, I kind of lost my mind when Caine says, he's here. Who? The Batman. I think the theater I can't remember what the reaction was, but I think the theater kind of got excited at that point because we knew something big was going to go down. And when Caine says the Batman is here, I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to get so good. Like the movie's already good. Now it's going to get great. Right. And then when he tastes your real medicine, doctor. And then he's got that nightmarish look on his face. We're just like, oh my God, this is so good. And then all the cops show up. It's like, whoa, there's an army of cops outside. When has this happened before? Oh yeah. And Mask of the Phantasm with Bullock, bringing all the cops and the SWAT teams, the whole nine, man.
What did I say about Batman Mask of the Phantasm?
So good.
It's a great movie.
It is, and it always will be. There's no question about it. By the way, R.I.P. Kevin Conroy. We miss you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you want to go in, we'll be right behind you, sir. SWAT's on the way. SWAT's on the way. Forget about SWAT. I'm going in.
Like this very much to show if you have the right team working on a movie, it can work. You can remake a movie and still offer something completely new that we'd never seen before. Because, if you look at those older Batman movies, they're corny. Say what you will, they're very corny. They're campy, and they have all those tropes that you would expect from a comic book movie, and this is something so different. But now, like, essentially, now we're an hour and a half into the movie, and we've well established the character of Batman and Bruce Wayne, that you actually care about what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And Rachel, again, not everyone apparently, but at least for some of us, we care that Rachel is in danger of losing her mind, right?
Yeah.
Because of the fear gas, and
Poison
so
is psychotropic hallucinogen.
that gives
Okay.
you a lot of weight to the scene.
They can't help her. I can. Oh, so good. So good. Interaction between Jim Gordon and Batman is so good. Beat me on the alley on the narrow side.
Where now it's very clear that Gordon has chosen to trust Batman and chosen to enter into this partnership.
They're dumping it into the water supply. Oh, well, what was he planning? I don't know. Was he working for Falcone? He mentioned someone else. Someone worse. Oh, so good. Anyway, Freddie goes on to say the Coen brothers were considered to direct before Tim Burton was. Kind of need that in my life. No, you don't. Sam Raimi was also looked at, and then again, I need this in my life. No, you don't, because Sam Raimi gave us Spider-Man, and that's what he's going to be known for the rest of his career. And Evil Dead. Evil Dead. I'm not going to shake anything at Evil Dead case, but he's going to be known for two things. Evil Dead, Ash versus Evil Dead, and the OG and the best, Spider-Man, okay? That's what he's going to be known for.
I would like to see a Sam Raimi Batman.
I think
that would be interesting.
It's never going to happen.
You never know.
No.
A lot of crazy things that I never thought would happen.
Never, ever going to happen.
Have happened.
Considering what we got in Spider-Man and also what we then got in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness,
Which
I think Sam Raimi can definitely make certain comic book movies. I don't think Batman is the character.
Nope. You can do other stuff.
Once again, I didn't say it would necessarily be good, but I'd like to see it to see what would happen.
Okay.
That's kind of that morbid curiosity, I guess. But I'm curious to see what would happen.
That movie doesn't count for me, Freddie. I'm sorry. He's not going to be known for making a masterpiece known as Darkman, because it's not a masterpiece at all. It is not. Darkman is not very good. I'm sorry. You know what I would have liked to have had when that movie came out. Sam Raimi originally was aiming to get the rights to The Shadow, and he was going to make a Shadow movie, Hollis, and I would have liked to have seen The Shadow movie. That's what I wanted to see. But instead, we get Darkman with Liam freaking Neeson, also known as Deckard here from Batman Begins. But I'm like, nah. Liam Neeson was better used in this comic book movie than that wannabe superhero movie called Darkman. Sorry. I'll get my car. I brought mine.
I bought mine, yeah.
By the way, a lot of people use this meme of Gordon looking at the camera, looking dead into the camera. I gotta get me one.
So cool.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man,
cool.
I used that a little while ago because my friend was saying I got this new book, and it's like I gotta get me one of those.
But by the way, to quote one of your favorite movies, where does he get those wonderful toys?
I know, honestly, it's so good. It's so good. What make and color? It's a black tank.
Yeah.
There's some good one-liners.
How do you describe this thing?
It's a black tank. At least tell me what it looks like. And then it blows by the cop. He's like, never mind. I get it.
I do want to say one of the things that's cool about these movies is as different as they're trying to be from the movies that came before, there are still these like story events that happen that link it to other movies. Like, for instance, this whole sequence, to me, a much better done car chase, but it's similar to the scene in Burton's movie where Batman is taking Vicky Vale in the Batmobile.
Yep.
The Batcave.
Yeah.
So there's he still is paying a little bit of homage to the Batman movies
cars.
Before.
Yeah, but it's great. This is a great action sequence that would only build up even 10 times bigger in Dark Knight. So,
oh god,
dude, that tank, not the tank, the truck chase scene. Oh my god, it's insane. And they shot that with IMAX cameras, I think, didn't they? Didn't they shoot that with IMAX?
Not the whole thing.
IMAX, yeah.
Well, Dark Knight was partially shot in IMAX cameras. Yeah.
That's Chris Nolan's. If he could shoot entire movies in IMAX, he would.
He will.
He will. He did it in Dark. He started with it in Dark Knight.
The problem is the IMAX cameras are louder, so for close-up shots of dialogue, they don't work super well for that, and that's why nobody really makes a whole movie in IMAX. But he's he's tried. If
What
he's
street
done
is
as
he
much as he
taking?
possibly can.
He's not on a street. He's flying on the rooftop. Freddie, you're wrong. He says The Shadow wasn't half as good as Darkman. I'm just saying, don't throw the popcorn at me. Well, I'm throwing it at you because The Shadow to me is a way better film than Darkman. But then again, the bar isn't very high at all. So yeah, I'll give you that. Nolan is great when it comes to practical effects.
Yeah,
100%.
He's very. I mean, look what this chase scene did for the movie. Look what this chase scene does.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
I'm glad that essentially filmmakers like Nolan and Villeneuve, they really try to make sure that visual effects are only used when it's absolutely necessary. And other than that, they make the sets, they make everything to make sure that it looks real because it is real.
Car
Like
blows.
every single stunt they did with the Batmobile, they actually did.
It's
Like
so good.
there's no
Yeah.
CGI
good.
Batmobile.
It's a great tumbler, isn't it, Hollis? Don't you want your own tumbler
cool.
sitting in your driveway? It'd be great, wouldn't
I
it?
think I'm torn about what is my favorite Batmobile. Tumbler is either one or two. It's up there for me as one of the coolest Batmobiles ever.
It's a cool
Can we
looking.
just agree that the one in the Batman is the worst?
Nah.
This is just
Yeah,
a
it didn't
car.
do
It's
anything
not.
for
It's
me.
not a Batmobile. It's just a car.
Just a car with
It didn't-
fancy lights.
Didn't do anything for me.
It's fine. I don't really remember it all that much, to be honest. But
And
it's
that's the
fine.
problem, Ryan. That's
That's
the
the
problem.
I remember
issue.
89.
It's
I remember.
terrible.
Well, here's the thing. I remember 89's Batmobile. I remember 95's Batmobile, and I remember the
Mhm.
Tumbler. That's pretty well, and obviously the Batman Mask of the
Oh,
Phantom.
but
Then
by
again,
the
that's not even
way,
in the movie, but
to
still.
indicate the how good a Batmobile is, if they made a great Lego set out of it, it is a great Batmobile.
And then Case
There we
is like,
go.
"I'm gonna buy that set tomorrow."
Strangely enough, I have not bought any of them, but I would have bought the big 1989 one because that one was a really cool set.
I was gonna say, I thought you would have had that by now. I guess not.
I have a lot of sets already, and
He's got the
need to make
He's got the
choices.
Slave 1 behind me. I got this Jeddah over here. I got Jeddah City over there.
It's mostly Star Wars in my case.
It's got Jeddah here. It's got a fighter below that. I think it is. Is that an A-wing I see? So
That's an
it's like
A-wing, yeah.
A-wing. There's an A-wing fighter. There's an AT-AT somewhere in the building. I don't know.
There's a Titanic.
There's a Titanic that you actually flippin' built, which is insane to me, by the way, that you did that.
That is very
Because
crazy.
that ship is so huge.
It is.
So I don't understand how you do it. Here's another near miss for you. The Wachowskis actually passed on making this movie before it went to Chris Nolan.
I am
Well, I'm
so
glad that
glad
they did.
happened.
I'm glad that the Wachowski siblings did that because if they had made this movie, it would have been a completely different kind of film. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I mean, to be
A lot
fair,
more kung fu.
they had their own project going on in 2005, which was based on a DC comic.
Oh, that's right. Keanu Reeves, Constantine. Sorry.
No, Before Vendetta.
Oh, sorry. I was confusing that with Constantine. Never mind.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no,
V
they
for
did
Vendetta.
Constantine.
Remember, the 5th of November. And yes, I saw it in theaters. I saw it again on DVD. And after that, I never thought about V for Vendetta ever again. Because it's not a very good movie. I'm sorry.
Okay, Ryan. No.
Well, it's not.
It is.
I mean, it's fine, but it's not like, rewatchable, really.
It is.
Ryan, you better be
Is it?
glad that Anonymous doesn't exist anymore. Because
Are you a V for Vendetta fan too?
No, I can't stand Alan Moore.
Okay,
That's
okay.
now. I think that once again, I have a complicated relationship with Alan Moore,
I
similar
feel like
to
you have a
Frank
complicated relationship
Moore.
with like half the comic book writers in the country.
It's true. It's true. I've told Kelly and Crayley that if they ever get certain people to be at the Multiverse fundraiser event that we do, there are certain people they shouldn't let me interview because I'm not going to be able to help myself
Compose
in some
myself.
cases from pulling punches.
Okay.
So-
All right. So you have an issue with Alan Moore from V for Vendetta. I get it. All right. Fair enough.
It's not
fair
because
enough.
of V for Vendetta that I have an issue with him.
Oh, it's just because of his
but-
certain word choices or something, or his belief system or something. I don't know.
Oh, we better not get on that topic.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. You can censor yourself, but I'm assuming it has to do with other stuff, so it's fine. By the way, what do you call that? I call it damn good television, Hollis. That's what I call that Batmobile chase. It's called damn good television, which, by the way, for those of you wondering what the Bantha fodder is going on, we are 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 50 seconds into this movie known as Batman Begins, which is turning, What was I saying earlier? 20, by the way. And don't forget to like and share this with your closest friends. If you're watching this, live on a replay, thank you so much for doing so. Hello there. And if you want to watch this movie along with us, queue up your copy on what is known as physical media, right, Hollis? Or streaming service. Watch the movie along with us. Comment below in the chat. And if you have any feelings that mention the words Alan or Moore or Frank or Miller in the same sentence, please keep those sentences at bay, because we will be talking about that on a different show with a different channel. That which has nothing to do with Batman Begins' 20th birthday. Which, by the way, speaking of birthdays, it's Bruce Wayne's birthday in this movie. He turns 30 in this movie. Did you know that? It's a fun fact.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
that is
it's
interesting.
His 30th. It's his 30th birthday, and I'm like, hey, I turned 30 couple years after this movie had come out. So that's ironic, isn't it, Hollis? Because I remember 8 years ago I turned 30, and I'm like, that was 12 years after this movie had come out. So who was buying? All kinds of funds, brokerages. It's all big technical, but the important thing is that our company's future is secure, Hollis. That's the important thing.
Which you find out later, Bruce is actually the one playing him through the whole thing.
Yeah. Alfred's trying to take Rachel home, but the servers and the caterers are wondering, what are you doing with that girl? The worse for the wear, I'm afraid. It was Rachel, Alfred. She was dying. She's downstairs sedated. I need you to take her home. How are you going to get your toxin into the air, Caine? Scarecrow. Who are you working for, Caine? Oh, it's too late. You can't stop it now. Jeez, he's really lost his marbles, hasn't he?
Irony.
Oof. You can't stop it now, Hollis. You can't stop it. We can't stop it now. We can't stop it. Oh, goodness gracious. You know what? 'Tis the season to be merry. Well, that's my name. No shit. Anyway, that's a movie from a different era. That's called Christmas Vacation. By the way, what? Never mind, Freddie. We'll move on to something else. Different story for a different time, Freddie. It's a microwave emitter powerful enough to vaporize all the water in the mains. A microwave emitter like the one that's...
Good, bad movies. Okay. Did you address that comment?
So,
well, I didn't address the Dark Man part, but the last part I'm not going to address. Sorry, Hollis, you were saying?
I was going to say, since we just watched Batman Forever, you and me, Ryan, last week, comparing Batman Forever to this one, I want to point out, like, the Riddler's plan in that movie is not very well thought out from, like, a story standpoint, as our other guests pointed out. Like, it doesn't make any rational sense inside of the story, but that's why it really hits home for me in this movie. Like, again, how well thought out everything in this movie is, including the bad guy's plan at the end, how they set it up way in advance from the very beginning of the movie, because of the flowers that they were using to cause the hallucinogenics, and how that's then tied to Caine and the fear gas, and then it comes together with the microwave emitter. It's a lot more tight, well-written development, especially compared to something like Batman Forever.
Dual identities. What was it? Freddie said the word good's up for grabs lately. It always has been. I love me some B movies, which, there's a scale of good and bad. V for Vendetta is a good bad film for me. Darkman, The Shadow, The Phantom with Billy Zane, they're all good bad movies for me, says Freddie. All right. I get that, man. Touche. I get it. I get it. I like The Shadow. I like The Phantom, but I do realize they're not great movies. But they are fun, good movies. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. I want to thank you all for coming here tonight, for drinking all of my booze.
I mean,
he does such a good job.
It's an opinion, but V for Vendetta is a great movie. I don't care who you are, what you want to say. It is a great movie. I think it actually has like an 8 on IMDb. It was 8.1. It's in the top 250 on IMDb. I don't care what you say. It's a
very respected movie.
It's not a bad movie. You cannot say that it's a bad movie. It's well crafted, well directed, well made, and actually, like, there's not a lot of visual effects going on. They do a lot of the action sequences also practically the same way as this movie. So I'm like, I don't know. I can consider that it's a bad movie. I understand that you don't like it. That's an opinion. Fine.
No, it's fine. That's fine. Maybe, I mean, it has been a minute, Case. Maybe I should just sit down and rewatch it. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. I really haven't. I haven't seen it in a very long time. Maybe I should go back and revisit it. If it's streaming on a place where I can get it, I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
I don't know for you guys. I suppose like for
maybe it might be on a streaming service that I'm not aware of. I don't know.
So now that we're
is it on Max?
Now that we're at the point in the movie when
identities are being revealed.
I want to point out that this is one of the roles where, in an interesting way, they both typecast Neeson and put him against type, because they had him play a mentor, which he's obviously really good at, but then they also had him play the villain, which is not something up until this point that you'd really seen him try to do before. And he plays a really good villain too.
That's why he's such a versatile actor. I mean, you know, you're talking to the guy who was in Schindler's List, which is a movie you should never, ever watch with your significant other and make out during Schindler's List, according to Jerry Seinfeld, okay?
Yeah, you'd have to be a psycho to do
because
that.
Otherwise you're going to get caught by your parents and your next door neighbor, and they're going to rat you out, and then you're going to be like ostracized from your community. So don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
There's a simple thing about Schindler's List.
Schindler.
Make sure you watch it once alone. When you're okay with being depressed for 3 hours,
yeah,
and then never ever watch it again.
Yeah, I saw it once. I did. I watched it.
There are certain movies and books and comics where I'll tell people, if you ever find yourself realizing that you're too happy in life,
go and watch Schindler's List for 3 hours.
You realize
bro.
You need to add some more sadness to your life.
Watch Schindler's List.
Well,
Yeah,
how many other movies can we name where you can have that experience? There's Schindler's List. What's another one? I mean, there's
Logan.
Logan's another one. Yeah,
I would put
Logan's
Logan
very
up there.
good. It's a great movie though, but it's
It's
very
a great
sad.
movie, but it's very depressing.
Sad. Yeah,
It is very depressing.
Hollis, you've seen Logan, right?
Logan still has a note, not really like a single note on a piano of hope at the end, but still, yeah. I'm trying to think of what.
Titanic is kind of depressing.
Sorry,
kind of. Maybe.
Titanic is one of the movies I hate the most of all movies.
Whoa, you're in the haters
I
club?
despise
Wow.
Titanic. Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
I would say that essentially the first half of Titanic, when the ship is not sinking yet, is fine. There are some comedy in there.
Yeah.
The moment that the ship starts sinking, it gets very dour.
Well, if anyone remembers this, you had a 2-volume VHS of Titanic back in the day. So when he says, "I believe you may have your headlines, Mr. Ismay," that was the end of tape 1, and then you had to flip in tape 2 to see the second half of the movie, which is basically after the news is delivered that, oh yeah, your ship's gonna sink. How much time? An hour, 2 at most. How many on board, Mr. Murdoch? 22,200 souls on board, sir. It's just like, that is sad. That is incredibly sad when you hear it. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. Great movie, though. I'm on the opposite side of the fence. I actually do like Titanic.
I
I get
Titanic, but
only good thing is the
opinion.
soundtrack.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's a matter of
In my
opinion. To each their own, right, guys? But I like Titanic. Is it my favorite James Cameron movie? No, but it's
that's
up there.
T2.
Well,
In your case,
Terminator 2, I think, is the only James Cameron movie I've watched that I actually liked. Terminator 2.
Wait a minute. Let's back the train up a little bit here. You've never seen True Lies, right?
Okay, fair enough. I haven't seen
that's
it.
That's a damn good movie. And you've never seen the Terminator from 1984. The first one.
I have seen the first one.
Okay, because I was going to say,
I did not like
the first one, you got
nearly as much as the second movie.
That's fair.
I think
that's
that
fair.
T2 is a significantly better movie.
I get it.
Have you seen Aliens?
Have you seen Aliens?
I have not.
Oh,
so
dude,
okay, well, that one you should see.
You got a problem.
There you go.
Because Kate and I are both in agreement that you need to see.
I might need to watch Aliens at some point.
Oh, you guys see Aliens.
Yeah.
It's so good. You have got to see Aliens. It is for me anyway. For me, it is miles better than Alien. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
It is.
It is, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of people defend the first one to its core, and I'm like, I get that.
The first one is iconic. It
is. But
Essentially, what James Cameron did with both Aliens and T2 is
Aliens.
take a classic first one and make it so much better.
Yeah, I'll give you
in the
that.
sequel.
I'll give you that because I like Aliens. Is my favorite one. So there you go. Speaking of which, correct me if I'm wrong. Next year, 40 years, Aliens.
Next
true?
year, yeah, 40. God,
We're going to be talking about
40.
Aliens next year, Case. Aren't you excited?
Oh yeah.
You're excited, right? You have to be excited. You're excited about the fact that Aliens turns 40 next year, that you and I and Austin are going to be sitting here talking about. And then we're going to be talking about Casino Royale turning 20. I mean, come on, dude. That's awesome.
We're gonna have to make a schedule for next year at some point.
You and I are going to sit down and make. Yeah, I'm going to send you some titles. I'm going to send you some details.
I'll send you some titles if you want to include them.
I mean, if you want to, yeah, go ahead. You send me a list. I send you a list. We compare the notes. We put them together. We mash them together, and we make a schedule out of it. So yay! But Aliens and Casino Royale are already on the list for next year.
Definitely.
Which
this is one of the best moments.
Oh yes. Movie. Oh yeah. What have I done?
Once again, a moment with a younger Batman that you don't get to see as much, where he has actually failed.
The Wayne legacy,
and he feels it.
It's
right.
Mortar, sir. I wanted to save Gotham. Yeah. Why did we fall, sir?
There we go.
So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
All comes
I think
full circle.
I can speak for a lot of people where that line in real life has meant so much to me.
Yeah.
Oh, it has?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it is one of the things where, even though this is a movie about a superhero, it's very real on a number of levels. Not just the realism, but also the themes. What it teaches about life is very, very, very real.
And I didn't want to... Oh, yeah, go ahead, Case. Go ahead.
Oh, that was just a great thing about a lot of the comic book movies in the 2000s when they started to take themselves seriously. Because, of course, with the old Superman and Batman movies, they were very campy and corny, and there was not too much to it that you could really relate to real life. And then we got the X-Men movies, the Spider-Man movies, this, and all of a sudden they presented the movies as in these are comic book characters that can live in the real world. Of course, this is by far the most extreme one that is the most realistic. I do think elements of X-Men and Spider-Man do have that and do essentially show us how it can be in the real world and how it can affect you as a person watching it. I think, yeah, this movie does a lot of good things in that regard.
Well, that's what was I going to say earlier? That's very true. And by the way, a lot of people have chimed in the chat. So let's see here. Where was I going to go with this? Oh, Freddie says about Ducard / Ra's al Ghul by Liam Neeson. He's also a villain with a twisted sense of purpose. He believes that he is right. That allows him to play like he's the good guy. Fair enough.
Exactly.
Another
which makes him interesting.
Yeah, another depressing movie he may mention. Jojo Rabbit. Anybody?
No, Jojo Rabbit is not depressing at all.
Not depressing? All right, well, maybe he's
okay. There is a very sad moment in it. I don't want to spoil it.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Yeah. But that's Jojo Rabbit. Well, he mentioned he thinks it's sad.
I don't know. Jojo Rabbit is a complicated movie.
It is.
We don't have time to talk about it right now.
No, we don't. That's another dissertation for us later. Freddie also says overrated movies, in my opinion, for him are Titanic as well as Avatar 2009. 2009's Avatar, yes. Titanic, I disagree with, but I, to each their own. But Batman Begins is not depressing or overrated. Darn right, it's not.
Yep.
Aliens has another stacked cast. Yes, it does. Once again, we're going to talk more about that next year when Case, Austin, and I, and maybe even Hollis, if he gets a chance to see it beforehand, we'll be sitting here chiming in about that. It proves that you can tell a compelling story that touches the heart and spirit, even wearing spandex. The story transcends the set pieces when it comes to Batman Begins. There you go. See, it works.
You can make a compelling story in any genre.
Any genre.
That's how it is. There is no genre that is inherently bad or unable to be made.
It can be done.
Yeah, it can be done.
It can be done, as they say in movies.
That's why I don't think you see it as much anymore, but there was a time when people wrote off superhero stories as just inherently escapist and not having any value from a literary standpoint. And it's just not true. And I think films like this show that that's just not true.
Jeez. Tyler Narrows is caught in this thing.
I like the idea of the Narrows too, by the way. I'm sad that they didn't keep using that in the other two movies, because I think it was a cool idea for how they kind of mapped out Gotham.
Can't let a little injury stop this man, can he? He's now in his Batmobile and all geared up, ready to go. This is Gordon.
He picked
What's
himself
going on
up
down there? We need reinforcements, TAC teams, SWAT, riot cops. Whoa, Gordon.
But
All the city's riot police are on the island with you.
That they're in now, and I think that has a very iconic look to it, which I said earlier, like I think makes it look more like a Gotham City, has like a unique look that isn't like real cities. And that is like as much as I think The Dark Knight is a better movie, but that's one of the elements that this movie has over The Dark Knight.
And there was
it looks visually very different from The Dark Knight. Just the cinematography, the color scale even is very, very different.
And it's funny, this movie was nominated for cinematography.
Oh,
there you go.
Jeez.
I will also say again, this movie is better edited than The Dark Knight too. Because even though the cinematography in The Dark Knight is quite awesome, the editing has some serious issues, in my opinion.
By the way, Freddie says, thanks for letting me hang out with you guys. This has been a great show. As always, I'm going to step out of the way here. I hope I didn't distract you too much. No!
Freddie, no!
Freddie,
no
don't
problem.
leave. Don't leave.
Hey, these watch-alongs are always just a bunch of tangents. And in the meantime, we're watching a movie.
And we're watching a great one at that. So, no, you can, in the words of our good friend Arnold, stick around. It's a fun time, man. We appreciate your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions. By the way, for those of you just joining us, thank you so much for being a part of this. This is Batman Begins 20th anniversary. We're 1 hour, 56 minutes, 41 seconds into this movie. Do not forget to like and share this with your friends. Chime in below in the chat if you have any feelings about this or anything related to the Dark Knight legend. If you're watching this live on the replay, thank you so much for doing so, and appreciate both Hollis and Case for being my co-host/co-producers tonight. They've done a great job at offering their fair share of commentary tangents, and Hollis is like, I'm going to keep most of this stuff to myself. But no, it's cool. He can keep things on the Batman front. By the way, I'm going to need your help to get this city safe. What do you need? Can you drive stick? I mean, Gordon driving stick in the Batmobile?
So cool.
I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. I told you.
I really like that they did that, because again, one of the best things about these movies is Gordon, because they give him something to do at the end. He's not just like Gordon in the other Batman movies who just needs to sit back and let Batman do everything. Like, you really see that Batman needs Gordon.
He quotes the same stuff right back to Rachel.
Well, and he is also not doing the Batman voice.
It's not who I am.
Like, this is me.
That defines me. Bruce?
Which is so cool.
The score is so good. The score is ridiculously good.
It's a freakishly great score.
And that line is so important, I think, not just for Batman, but for all superhero stories. Yeah. Because that really cuts to the heart of it. The idea of the secret identity is it doesn't matter who's behind the mask. What matters is doing the actions that are the actions of a hero.
You took my advice, but actually a little bit literally. It ends here. For you and the police, maybe. My fight, however, relies for the rest of Gotham.
Now he's commenting on his appearance, but earlier I said everything about his suit is made because of practical needs, not necessarily because he wants to live that way.
Although obviously
he did model it after the bats. He did say that he wanted to do that, but
the bats.
Everything has a practical need.
That's right.
The bats. I want to see some of the wildlife in Gotham City.
And really even the bat thing has a psychological meaning, right? Even if not necessarily 100% practical meaning.
Like someone saying to the other person next to you, Hollis, you got bats in the belfry.
Yeah,
right?
That just doesn't.
No, come on.
Well, again, the reason is because that's reminding me of the Tim Burton movie, which again, they don't give you any sort of psychological reason for why he would be Batman as opposed to anything else. And that's, again, one of the, at least Batman Forever did, right? Batman Forever showed you the scene where he fell into the cave and had the bats. And
well, in Tim Burton's Batman, they did have the flashback of his parents getting murdered.
Yeah. But they didn't show. But why did he become Batman?
Oh, well, that's the other thing. Yeah, you're right.
He becomes Batman.
All right, Case.
Why didn't he become,
the world's greatest detective all of a sudden.
Yeah, why didn't he just become like vigilante man? Right? Like
That's a
why?
valid point.
Why didn't he become Birdman? Oh wait, he did eventually.
Yeah. Years and years and years and years and years and years later by Alejandro Inarritu, I want to say. Is that it? Yeah, that's his name. Sorry.
Alejandro González Iñárritu.
Inarritu. What was the last movie that guy even made? Because I don't even know if he's making movies.
I don't know. It's just he won 2 directing Oscars and he was like, I'm good.
He was like, yeah, I'm kind of over it now. I'm going to move on to something else. Yeah, well, what is that? Because I can't see it from here. I'm sorry.
Some directors do that.
Yeah, I mean, what? Yeah, but how many times have we heard Soderbergh and Tarantino say they're going to retire and then they never do?
Yeah.
Like Steven Soderbergh said he's going to retire like 20 times, Case, and he never retires.
Tarantino with The Hateful Eight. Yeah, this is my 8th and final movie.
And then he's like,
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, this is my 9th and final movie. And now he's working on a 10th.
Now he's working on it. Do we know what the name of the 10th one is yet or no?
No idea.
No idea. Okay, so that's still in development. Thanks. Well done, Tarantino.
But let's see. Iñárritu's last project was...
What was his name?
Bardo.
Oh, okay.
3 years ago. No idea what that is.
Oh, look at that stare down between the two. Now they're going to fight above the microwave emitter, and Gordon's smashing all the cars in Gotham. He says, I'm sorry. Familiar. Don't you have anything new? How about this? There you go. See, that's a way to chop down a guy's sword, right, guys?
That was cool.
Man.
Oh, Ducard chopped up the controls. I never noticed that till now.
Yeah, I think he was the one who did it.
Yeah.
You have
Once
arrived.
again, he's responsible for his own undoing.
You have arrived at Wayne Tower. Oh, smashing his head through the windshields or the wind.
Yeah, he's got the helmet.
True.
He'll be fine.
We're right on top of the main hub, and it's gonna blow. Oh, the score is so good. Yeah, Gordon's like, what am I supposed to do here? Weapon system activated.
Okay, so one of the things that I'm actually getting tired of in superhero movies today is like the big CGI slugfest at the end between the hero and the villain. And it's really refreshing to watch this now after some of those other movies to see just the...
Also, don't forget the sky beam. Always a sky beam of some sorts.
Yeah,
there you go. That
sky
too,
beam
right?
case. Is that what you had to bring? Okay.
And just to see like 2 normal humans slugging it out, like, again, it's refreshing.
And then Ducard says, don't be afraid, Bruce, because his dad told him that like 5 times earlier in the film. Don't be afraid, Bruce. Don't be afraid.
And again, that's the theme, right?
Who said anything about stopping it? Ah.
Boom.
Yes. Gordon's like, yeah, I scored the winning touchdown.
To your point, there are not a whole lot of comic book movies these days that still do this, but one of them that I was actually very surprised by to keep that kind of simple is Deadpool. It's just 2 guys fighting each other on a helicarrier. Nothing else.
I won't.
And in that case, it helped the movie that it didn't have as much of a budget. Sometimes not having as much of a budget for a comic book movie really helps it.
Can be a good, yeah, exactly.
I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Yes. Probably the most controversial part of this movie.
Oh, it's great.
I agree that it doesn't totally work with Batman's no-kill rule, but I do want to point out that it is still different from Batman just straight up murdering someone.
Yeah.
Because it was him. He destroyed the controls, right? He made it so that there wasn't any stopping that train. And he put himself on that train. Somebody on YouTube made that point. There is a difference between letting him die in a situation he created than actively murdering him. I'm not saying that totally resolves the issue of it being a problem for his no-kill rule, but I do want to point out that's still different than Batman just straight up popping a cap in someone.
Is it Gordon, just me, or does it? Like, it reminds me a little bit of Superman killing Zod at the end of Man of Steel, where it's also like kind of a controversial moment, but I understand
it. Gordon waves at him.
it.
Meeting's already started. What meeting?
The meeting where they fire him.
Yeah,
Fox, I can't remember firing you.
you did.
You did. I got another job.
Yours.
Yours. On whose authority? Batman may have made the front page, but Bruce Wayne got pushed to page 8.
All good.
Drunken billionaire burns down home. What makes you think you decide who's running the company? Well, the fact that I'm the owner. What are you talking about? The company went public a week ago, and I bought most of the shares. Through various charitable foundations, trusts, so forth. Look, it's all a big tentacle, but the important thing that my company's future is secured. Right, Mr. Fox? Right, you are, Mr. Wayne.
Did you get the memo?
memo?
Great
Oh,
callback.
man. Oh, look at this. Things come full circle. He's putting some
plywood on that as his entire house is burnt down around it.
I know, right?
Uh,
I'm sorry.
It actually helps. He can now finally expand his house a little bit.
there you go.
The day that Chill died, I said some terrible things to you, but true things.
Exactly.
I was a coward with a gun, Rachel. Justice is about more than just revenge. So thank you. No. Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Here's where the love part comes in. The kiss seems kind of obligatory.
It does. It does.
They just got to put in a kiss in this kind of movie, and so they do.
Then I found out about your mask.
Yeah, essentially, based on this, it would have been we're robbed of her in the next movie, her in The Dark Knight, seeing what that would have done.
Yeah. Yeah. Because in the first half of the movie, he says to Rachel in Dark Knight, like, the wars with crime is pretty much over at this point because Harvey Dent's going to be the new White Knight and I'm going to retire. And then you and I can finally be together. But Rachel's like, no. There's more to this going on than you think.
Yeah, I don't know. That's maybe that wasn't actually such a great idea in retrospect. Like, even making Rachel Harvey Dent's girlfriend, it was kind of necessary for the plot that they did, but it also creates some problems too. Yeah.
What was sorry, what was he saying?
Totally just friends as they hold hands going up.
Your father would be very proud of you, just like me. Oh, finds his father's stethoscope.
Oh, see, everything has a payoff in this movie.
Oh,
Everything has a meaning.
That's why this movie's so damn good, if not great. What will you do? Rebuild it just the way it was, brick for brick.
Just the way it was, sir.
Just the way it was. No. You have to do the Caine. Just the way it was, sir. Sorry.
I am not the best Michael Caine.
It's okay. Yeah, why?
I can do impressions, but not Michael Caine.
Oh, I thought this might be a good opportunity for improving the foundations in the southeast corner. Precisely, sir. No. You hear that score?
That score is just so good.
And then we get the debut of the bat signal at the end. Nice. Couldn't find any mob bosses. Well. Oh, it's Lieutenant now. You really started something. Bent cops running scared. Hope on the streets, but And Arrows is lost. And we still haven't picked up Caine or half the many freed from Arkham. We will. We can bring Gotham back. Escalation. We start wearing Kevlar. They buy armor-piercing rounds. And you're wearing a mask, jumping off rooftops. Oh, the Easter egg at the end. We lost our minds in the theater. We all lost our minds. Got a taste for the theatrical, like you. Leaves a calling card. Oh, we lost our minds. I'll look into it. Oh, man.
You'll never have to.
I never said thank you. And you'll never have to. That's another great quote there. People use that sometimes.
Yeah.
When someone recommends great movies for you to watch, your friend says, I never said thank you, and you never have to. It's someone used. Dun, dun, dun,
There it is.
dun,
And there's the
dun,
title.
dun. Yeah, we always. What was the name of this movie? Because it never came up in the opening credits. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of this. What was the name of this movie again? Oh yeah.
Well, there were no opening credits.
It just jumped straight in. It was the Warner Brothers, DC, and what was the other one? Legendary, and all the other company logos. And after that, it was like, let's just jump right into the movie, right, Case? We don't need opening credits.
That's how Nolan rolls, though. Like, that's how Nolan rolls.
We don't need opening credits for a movie, Case. We don't. Period. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end credit sequence and the iconic score by Hans Zimmer of Batman Begins. We've reached the end of it. So, folks, I got to ask you this. Case, final thoughts, scale 1 to 10. What do we give in Chris Nolan's debut in the Batman universe for Batman Begins?
This is such a joy of a movie, honestly. Like, it does the character of Batman justice. It does a political thriller justice. You know, like it's a political thriller with comic book characters in it, and nothing feels out of place, despite the fact you have Batman, Scarecrow, all these crazy characters from the comics, and the way it was presented to us in this movie is insane, and it holds up so well. And the reason it holds up is because the filmmaking had minimal visual effects. Most of it was done practically. The action sequences are great. But also the themes of the character of Batman are explored very well throughout the movie and are still relevant to this day. 20 years, it's 20 years later, and this movie can still, teach people things. And I think that just is a testament to how timeless the movie is and will forever be. So it's not my absolute favorite. It's damn good, though. It's like my third favorite Batman movie, besides The Dark Knight and Mask of the Phantasm. It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Ooh, good stuff. And if someone wants to know more about you and check out all the wonderful things you're doing over there, where can they follow you?
Okay. Well, you can find me talking Star Wars most of the time on my YouTube channel, The Dutch Star Wars Guy, where currently I am building a Lego mock of Jeddah City. I have some pieces behind me, which you can't see thanks to the title. I'm actually happy about that, because otherwise it would spoil what I have behind me for my video tomorrow. So tomorrow, a big update video. This is by far my longest update video that I've made so far on it, and it's a good one. So stay tuned for that. If you like Star Wars, if you like Legos, I'm building something that's cool. So check that out. And yeah, I think that's about it. Subscribe to my channel where I talk about Star Wars.
Star Wars. What is that? No, I'm just kidding. But thank you for being here. Case, appreciate everything you do for this channel and everything you're going to be doing in the years and months to come. So thank you, sir. Appreciate it, and look forward to seeing that video on your channel. My goodness gracious, so many things are coming. It's exciting. So fasten thy seatbelts. It's going to be one heck of a ride. Thank you, kind sir. Hollis, the professor of Movieology 101, the professor of Thou Shalt Read This Comic but Not Read That Comicology. If someone wants to know, yeah, I'm just saying. But if someone wants to know more, first of all, final thoughts on this movie, a scale 1 to 10. And if someone wants to know more about the incredible dissertations that you give on social media, where can they follow you?
Okay. Oh, I'm going to have to cut myself down because there's so much I could say about Batman Begins. Here's what I'll say. So the Batman origin story is a myth. And it's a myth in the J.R.R. Tolkien sense of the word myth. When he talks about myth, that doesn't mean a story that isn't true. There are myths that are still real stories that happened. But it's a myth in the sense of this is a story that reveals something central about reality. And it is a story that is a fundamental part of a lot of people's identity. And the Batman origin story is so significant like that because of its themes. And this is, I think, one of, if not the best telling of that origin story. And Batman's origin story is gruesome. It's extremely tragic. It is full of capital T trauma to have a little boy watch his parents get murdered in front of his eyes. But it's so powerful because out of that act of violence and evil, you have this amazing person, force for good, come out of it, Batman. And so, as other people have pointed out, the reason it's so powerful is that the message it gives you is that the worst thing that ever happened to you, the most traumatic, tragic event in your life, does not have to be the thing that ruins your life. It can be, if you let it, something that brings something good into the world. How you react to that event, how you react to your trauma, can be in a positive way or it can be in a negative way. And Bruce Wayne is such an amazing character because he used that trauma to him. Oh, that trying to make sure that what happened to him will never anybody else. And this movie adds to that the themes of fear, that we all face fear on a daily basis. And we all have the choice to either face that fear and go forward or not, or to become consumed with fear, like Ducard talks about at the beginning, and become something horrible like the various villains are. So again, overall for this movie, 9 out of 10, and that's really only because of the Batman voice and a couple other things. On an academic scale, I would give it a solid A as a movie. If you guys are interested in hearing more about my rambling, you can check out my podcast, Sunday Morning Superheroes, where I talk about superheroes, biblical studies, Christianity, Judaism, and their influence and themes, that sort of stuff. And I have a couple of videos, I think, about Batman, at least one out right now. And you can also, if you're interested in hearing about the history of superhero media in comics, you can check out the podcast Comic Story that I do with the author Kelly Gettner, where we are trying to talk about comic book history from beginning to end, every episode talking about a different topic or a different point in comic book history. We have a fun time. And if you guys want to learn something about that, you can check us out.
Fabulous. Thank you, sir, for being here. Do greatly appreciate it. And good luck with all the podcasts and all the upcoming appearances you got going on. Because, my gosh, you're a busy man. You're a college professor. You got a million things going on. And apparently you give better dissertations than Case and I can do in a lifetime. So don't get me wrong, Case. You and I are really smart people that know our stuff. But Hollis being a college professor, it puts me to shame. It puts me to shame. I don't know why. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I want to say thank you to both of you for being here. I want to thank you for being here. My thoughts are simply this. I love this movie. I loved it since day one, 2005. I was there in the theater with hundreds and hundreds of fans going nuts, waiting to see what this new chapter, this new era of Batman was going to bring us. And Chris Nolan, Christian Bale, and company. Let's not forget about the Michael Caines, the Morgan Freemans, and it's definitely the Gary Oldmans, Katie Holmes, Maggie Gyllenhaal, however you want to go about it. What they brought to the table here is nothing short of amazing. It's incredible. It is one of the best eras of comic book movies we've ever seen in our lives. It's one of the eras it's hard for us to ever going to see again. We're probably never going to see again. Who knows? Anything is possible. Anything is possible. The world is still turning. We're still breathing. Filmmakers are still out there making movies. So anything is possible, fellas. But I will say this. To me, this is a perfect movie. I don't have any problems with this movie. None whatsoever. So if we're going to make another iteration of perfect movies on Anti-Quote Channel, which you may have to do that somewhere down the line, and we're going to have Hollis be on that episode because I want him to name five movies that he considers to be perfect or near like 99.9999999% perfect. I'm just saying. But yeah, 10 out of 10. Love this movie. I've been I mean, look at me. Hold on a second. Can we see this for a second? I'm wearing the DC Trinity shirt tonight for Pete's sake. All right. So that just goes to show you how much of a fan I am of comic books and the DC Trinity, of course. But yeah, this is a great movie. 10 out of 10. It's iconic acting, iconic score by Hans Zimmer, great directing by Christopher Nolan. Sorry. And it's a great start to this this trilogy that he gave us from 2005 to 2012, respectively. Yes, it's a trilogy. Some people say it's only 2 movies. No. It's a great, solid Dark Knight trilogy. Get it straight. So those are my 2 cents. Love this movie. Batman's one of my favorite characters of all time, as he should be. So with that being said, don't forget to tune in. Movie watch-alongs are on Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. The Writers' Showcase is coming back on Saturday, June the 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We got a great roundtable of writers, and I hope you get a chance to tune in for that. Once again, if you missed any of our live shows, they are up on the playlist for each respective program. So check out the YouTube channel. It's all there. All the information is there. If you want merch, we got it for you. It's in the link tree, which is in the description of this and all our other videos. Our next watch along will be next Friday on June the 27th, I want to say, Case. And we're celebrating Steven Spielberg's masterpiece known as Jaws turning 50. Yeah. You heard me right. 50 years of Bruce the Shark terrorizing the shores of Amity Island, or in this case, because they shot it on Martha's Vineyard. So hashtag those are the fun facts of this movie, Case, and they are undisputed. So there you go. Jaws turns 50, and then in the month of July, we got some really great movies coming your way for the month of July watch-alongs. Inside Out's going to be turning 10. Sandra Bullock's The Net turns 30. And then we round out the month of July with, I believe, it's the 10-year anniversary of Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Yeah, Mission Impossible is kind of a big deal right now because the final reckoning is in theaters. Go and see it. So with that being said, thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when the videos go up or they go live. And happy 20th anniversary to the entire cast and crew of Batman Begins. I never said thank you, and you'll never have to.
You travel the world. Now you must journey inwards. What you really fear is inside you. There is no turning back. Your parents' death was not your fault. The training is nothing. The will is everything. If you make yourself more than just a man, if you devote yourself to an ideal, you become something else entirely. Are you ready to begin? Where are you?